Live from Jackie Robinson Ballpark here in beautiful downtown Daytona Beach, Florida. It's time for the series finale between the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats and the Jackson State Tigers. Wildcats looking for a second straight conference series sweep after they took the first game 6-2, and they came back with 4 runs in the ninth to take last night's game 6-5, and a bit of a rotated lineup for the Wildcats in the field today. We've got common players at uncommon positions and some new faces in the lineup as well. My name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company. Alongside me, as always, Bryce Wojnowski. Bryce, we've got Daniel Gaviria on the mound today, who has looked a little shaky in his last 2 conference starts. The loss against Florida A&M, and of course, he gave up 4 runs last week to Alabama A&M in a game the Wildcats eventually won. But against a team that can hit the ball like Jackson State, is going to be important for a good, settled start for Gaviria.
Well, I tell you what, Mike, this game looks a lot different today than it did in about 9 o'clock last night when the Wildcats were trailing pretty handily to Jackson State. When you're able to turn that around the way that the Wildcats did and kind of break the backs of Jackson State, break the hearts of that dugout a little bit, they come in today a little less fired up than maybe we saw them yesterday. And I think in many ways that was the difference last night, was the shift in mentality from that Wildcats dugout, getting fired up, getting back into the ball game in one that Jackson State had done that for the majority of the 9 innings. So, of course, your momentum is only as good as your next starter, right? So Daniel Gaviria is going to get an opportunity here to right the ship a little bit and show what we've expected from the preseason SWAC Pitcher of the Year. To do that, he's going to have to pitch to contact. He's going to have to let this little bit of a different defense do its work behind him.
In defense for Bethune-Cookman, it's Gonzalez-Febo at third, Cordova at short, Orlison at second, Sufrain at first. That hasn't changed. Escobar is behind the plate tonight. Gaviria is the starting pitcher. In the outfield is where things are a little different. Garrett Chun is in left. Sergio Rivera goes from right to center. And Michael Rodriguez, the freshman, gets his second start of the season in right field after a really good week for the freshman.
Earned himself a playing spot. See what he can do to build on that momentum. It's always tough for a freshman to get those looks in the lineup early, but he's definitely given coach something to think about.
It'll be Jordan McLaddy to start it off for Jackson State. Lefty to lefty. Here's the first pitch. Swinging a ground ball foul outside of third. And Jackson State obviously knows that Daniel Gaviria can have some slow starts on the mound. They'll be looking to jump on him early. Pitch. There's a fastball strike outside corner. McLaddy is a .361 hitter, 39 runs on 43 hits, 9 doubles, 3 triples, 2 homers, and 20 RBIs. He smacks this one in the air, right center field. This would be a long run. And Rivera dives, and he can't come up with it. Going to second. Here's the throw. He's out. What a recovery from Michael Rodriguez. How about that for your first play in the field?
And credit where credit's due, the Wildcats defense for being able to make that play. But I think that's more of what we've continued to see from Jackson State all weekend long. Sloppy baseball. Just trying to do a little too much on a ball that wasn't really hit hard, not double distance by any means.
So he's out 9-6, and the first pitch is low and outside to Rodney Hibbler Jr., batting .364. 33 runs on 43 hits. Pitch. Inside called ball 2. 8 doubles, 2 triples, 2 homers, and 23 RBIs, slugging .517 for Hibbler. And the breaking ball crosses the plate for strike 1. And that's just, I'm not sure if it's more heads-up fielding from the Wildcats. Here's the pitch. In the air, down the third baseline and fair. That'll head towards the corner. Rounding first and going to second is Hibbler. This time there will be no throw at second. It's a stand-up double. For Hibbler, there's 1 aboard with 1 out.
Early signs of concern for Daniel Gaviria and the Wildcats defense. Hard contact both ways. Of course, the first one, a little bit more of that blue, but make no mistake about it, solid contact, productive at-bats. Gonna have to get some more weak groundouts.
Here's Lenny Montesano, been one of the better hitters for Jackson State in this series. He's batting .333 on the year. First pitch lefty to righty in the dirt. Ball gets away from Escobar. He throws down to third, and safe is Rodney Hibbler. So there's a runner on third with 1 down, and the count 1-0 to Montesano. Pitch. Breaking ball catches the outside corner 1-1. Our umpires today behind the plate is Philip Blake. At first base, Don Andrews. And at third, Landon Davis. 1-1. Foul back to the screen, 1-2. This is very similar to the start in the last game that Gaviria pitched against Alabama A&M. Some hard contact early, finding the ground. 1-2. In the air, foul, first base side out of play.
These Sunday games are always, in many ways, if you take care of business, if you play smart ball, if you do what you're supposed to do, you can usually come out on the good side of a Sunday game.
Breaking ball, backdoor slider, catches the outside corner for a strikeout. What a pitch by Gaviria.
It's something we don't see Gaviria go to a ton. Doesn't have a ton of options as far as getting that strikeout pitch, but if he can pick the corner with that one, it's going to be a hard one to swing at, to commit to if you're Jackson State.
Now with two down, here's Robert Tate. Batting .357, first pitch a ball, and it's 1-0. Tate, 70 at-bats, 16 runs on 25 hits, 1 double, 12 RBIs. Looking for number 13 with Hibbler 90 feet away on third. There's a breaking ball strike outside corner, 1-1. Gaviria coming into today with a .495 ERA. He works quickly, and a swing and a miss at a fastball upstairs, 1-2. Gaviria 3-2. This is his 8th start of the year. He's pitched 40 innings right on the dot. Allowed 27 runs on 42 hits. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss! Got him swinging on the high cheese fastball. And the Jackson State Tigers strand one.
One left on.
No runs, 2 hits, 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the first. Jackson State 0, Wildcats coming to bat here on the CatEye Network. We go to the bottom of the first. No score here at the Jack, and we get our first look at Jackson State starter Eric Gonzalez, a pitcher that the Wildcats know very well, pitched 4 times against Bethune-Cookman last year out of the pen, including his longest outing of the year was 5 2/3 innings in the middle of that playoff game that the Wildcats eventually won via the walk-off.
Well, I can tell you 6 errors on your defense like Jackson State had last night is a quick way to not repeat a performance like that.
Gonzalez making his 3rd start of the year in only his 8th appearance. Pitch. Swing and a miss. This is Sergio Rivera leading off today. Wildcats in the batting order have changed it up a little bit. Rivera bats first, Chun second, Escobar third, Gonzalez fourth, Sufrain fifth, Gonzalez Fabo sixth, Rodriguez seventh, Cordova eighth, and Olison ninth. Here's the 0-1. Fastball strike on the outside corner, 0-2. Gonzalez maybe has the best fastball I've seen from this Jackson State team all weekend. Runs that up in the low 90s. Catcher sets up outside. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball outside, 1-2. Rivera batting 303, 26 runs on 36 hits, 8 doubles, 2 triples, and 16 RBI. We'll have plenty of time to talk about this lineup and how it's different than normal. Missed with the fastball upstairs 2-2. First thing that jumps out to me is Escobar in the 3 spot.
He's hit the ball well, and it's hard to stay locked in when you're platooning all season long, but he's done that. I'm surprised we haven't seen Escobar higher up in the lineup, honestly.
2-2. In the dirt, 3-2. Defensively, the only change for Jackson State from yesterday is there's a new first baseman. Jalen Williams replaces Hassan Standifer, who played at first the first 2 games of this series. Full count delivery coming up from Gonzalez. He deals, and it's hit high in the air, left-hand side, not deep, just behind third base in foul territory. It is caught by Montesano, and there's one away. So now it'll be Garrett Chun, who didn't have a great time of it last night, was 0 for 4 with a walk. That has been one of the more consistent bats all season long, batting .252. Still a team-high 24 RBIs on the year. And right to lefty, the first pitch from Gonzalez outside 1-0.
Chun did hit the ball pretty hard last night. Had that one ball, probably the hardest hit ball we saw last night was the one to right center field. But I think the wind kept that one a little up.
Upstairs again, 2-0. The wind today, it's a beautiful day in Daytona Beach, by the way, is lazily blowing in from right, which is kind of your normal wind. After we've seen some odd wind patterns the last couple of outings of the Jack. Check swing inside ball 3. Couple of wispy clouds in the air in the high 60s, otherwise a pearlescent blue sky this afternoon. Pitch right down the middle, and it's 3-1. Gonzalez last year, 53 and a third innings at a 4.22 ERA. Outside ball 4, and Chun walks. First base runner of the game for Bethune-Cookman, and Garrett Chun has walked in back-to-back plate appearances across the game break.
And as they often have for the Wildcats team, walks last night were a big key to breaking things open and jumping in front.
At one point, the Wildcats were down 5-0, hadn't had a hit, and it still had more base runners than Jackson State had. Walks, errors, and hit by pitches. Wildcats lived on those, and they were part of the catalyst of the comeback. First pitch to Irvin Escobar's upstairs, ball 1. Gonzalez this season has only pitched 8 2/3 innings, has a 6.23 ERA. He's allowed 6 runs on 12 hits, striking out 6 and walking 2. That was his 3rd walk of the season. Pitch, breaking ball outside 2-0. Batting average opponent is .353 with a wild pitch and 3 hit by pitch. Garrett Chun leads off at first. Here's the 2-0 to Escobar. The nod of the pitch. It's in the air to right field. Moving over the center fielder, Hibbler. He makes the catch on the run. There's 2 away. Decent contact by Escobar, but like Rivera before him, just pops that one up.
A little bit of a lazy fly ball there.
Here's Jose Gonzalez, 2 outs, 1 on. The freshman leading the team in batting average in .367. And every time I look at the team sheet when it's printed out for us every day, I'm always shocked to see freshman next to Jose Gonzalez. And he plays so much bigger than that. They check over to first. Chun's back safely. 3 freshmen in this starting lineup: Gonzalez, Fabo, and Michael Rodriguez. And now the first pitch to Jose. Upstairs, almost hit him. Went over his head. And Jose Gonzalez, with more plate discipline than I'll ever had, just stood there and watched it go over. Nice job by the catcher Cabeza to keep it from the backstop. Here's the 1-0. In the air to right field, not deep. Moving in, McClatty. He tracks it into the glove, and there's out number 3. So 3 pop-ups.
No hits, no errors.
No runs, no hits, one left. And we go to the second inning of play. No score here at the Jack between the Wildcats and the Tigers. To the top of the second we go. No score here at the Jack between Jackson State and Bethune-Cookman. Joseph Eichelberger leads off. First pitch from Daniel Gaviria, lefty to righty, is a fastball outside ball one. Eichelberger batting a team-leading 367 for the Tigers, and he pops one up to the right side. Behind first base, Colton Olison will let it drop, and he's going to go all the way to second. And that's the kind of error that Jackson State made yesterday.
I think that's also probably a little bit in part to Michael Rodriguez being that freshman out there in right field. A little bit of a lack of communication, which is not something we're used to seeing from Olison at second base. I'm surprised he didn't call everybody off and make that play.
They're going to give it a double. And now there's a runner on second, nobody out. Daniel Gaviria is a guy who really needs his defense to step up, as this one is hammered deep left field. Going back Chun to the track, he makes the catch, tagging and going to third, and safe. It was a close play. Eichelberger slid in around the tag.
And positive result for Jackson State there, but again, I don't love in the early innings with just one out, sending the runner from second to third on a ball hit to left field with the arm of Garrett Chun, who we've seen nab runners before, barely got that in. If that goes the other way, you're really in a hole early.
Yeah, the throw was great. Gonzalez Fabo just barely missed that tag. Nice slide by Eichelberger. And for the second straight inning, there's a runner on third with one out. Here's Jalen Williams, the first baseman. There's a ball outside, 1-0. Williams making only his 11th start of the year. 5 runs on 3 hits, 1 homer, 2 RBIs. Pitch. Breaking ball outside, 2-0. Gaviria's been trying to live on that outside corner to righties. Hasn't really found it yet. Does have that 1 strikeout to Montesano. 2-0. Comes inside with it, gets a strike, 2-1. And really more so than any pitcher on this staff, Daniel Gaviria loves to work fast. Here's the pitch. It's tapped towards short, and it's going to be through for a base hit. Eichelberger scores, and it's 1-0 Jackson State.
And another game where we see the Wildcats fall behind first. Of course, last weekend was the big one where all weekend long they were playing from behind. It's a team that's not afraid to play from behind. That doesn't mean that you should recommend getting behind early.
Yeah. And again, it's a Sunday game. Gaviria giving up some early runs. And here's Miles White, DH today, chops one foul into the Jackson State dugout, 0-1.
Gaviria in many ways is your perfect Sunday starter at his best, works to contact, works really quickly, and a guy who can go innings for you, but he just hasn't quite been able to do that yet early in the season.
Here's the pitch. White hammers at the center. That's going to drop for a base hit. fell right in front of the charging Rivera, and there's 2 on, 1 out.
The issue with Gaviria is when you're a guy that works to contact as much as he does, and a guy who's let up more hard contact than I think he's liked to early in the season, the issues can kind of compound on you a little bit when you don't have a strikeout pitch, especially when he's not getting the outside edge from the official. It's going to be tough to work back from base runners like this.
Here's the 9-hole hitter, Letty Alvarez. First pitch to the righty is a breaking ball strike. And it's 0-1. Gaviria in the first stranded Hibbler on third with 2 straight strikeouts. But in this inning, Eichelberger doubled. Cabeza flew out to move him to third. There's a swing and a miss. And it's 0-2. Then Williams and White both singled to bring in Eichelberger, and now there's 2 on, 1 out. This is very similar to some of the innings that Jackson State had yesterday. Just single, single, single. Big breaking ball doesn't catch the outside corner, 1-2.
Definitely think Gaviria feels like he's getting squeezed just a little bit. Really wants that outside corner.
1-2. Breaking ball right back up the middle. There's another base hit. In to score from second is Jalen Williams. The throw to the plate is wide. And it's 2-0 Tigers. 3 straight singles.
And the issue for Gaviria there is that's right where he wanted that pitch, on the outside half of the plate. Just able to flick the bat out and put it where it needs to be. But again, not missing a lot of bats. Not a guy who has the stuff to miss a ton of bats. Has to rely on deception and keeping guys off balance. Could be a long afternoon if he can't do it.
A bunt by McClatty. It's a beautiful one down the third baseline. Fabo charges and throws wide of first. Soufrain has to dive to keep it from going to the outfield. It's another single. Everybody moves up, and now the bases are loaded. White on third, Alvarez on second, McClatty on first.
You said it a little bit last night. Still very much with this Jackson State lineup with how athletic they are from top to bottom. You always kind of hold your breath just about any time anyone's up. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of spots in this lineup that you can coast through. You got to stay engaged the whole time.
And we'll see Coach Joel Sanchez already go out to the mound to give Daniel Gaviria a talking to. Now, after Gaviria's rough start last week, he did settle down. Didn't give up any more runs after the 4 he gave up in the first. But this is a tough situation, right? Bases loaded, 1 out. Nike is the official outfitter of the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Gear up on the newest BCU Nike gear at nike.com/Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. And make sure you are representing Bethune-Cookman University Athletics to the fullest. Buy the latest BCU gear online at the Bethune-Cookman online store. Go to bcuathletics.com and click on shop to find the newest BCU clothing and apparel. That's bcuathletics.com and click on shop. Speaking of apparel, today's uniform matchup, Wildcats in the Sunday cream uniform, off-white. The interlocking BC logo right side of the chest, number left side. Jackson State in the traditional road grays, navy numbers. Jackson in script in white across the front. Here's the first pitch to Rodney Hibbler. There's a strike outside corner, 0-1. Bases loaded, 1 out. And a foul tip right at home plate means it's 0-2. Now Gaviria would love a double play ball right here.
Really, it's the balls on the infield that he needs more of if he's going to stay longer in games. Hasn't seen them yet.
Upstairs, 1 and 2. As you said, the balls are not missing the bats. And if a pitch to contact guy, here's 1-2. Breaking ball chopped toward short. That might be it. And it's muffed by Cordova. That'll be an error. Another run scores. White in from third. Everybody moves up a base, and it's 3-0.
Cordova clearly a little sped up on that play, really trying to pick up his guy on the mound and make that double play. But when you do that, you only make the issues worse. And now they got nothing to show for it.
Still bases loaded, 1 out. Here's Lenny Montesano, the 8th hitter of the inning. Pitch. Breaking ball outside, ball 1. Montesano struck out looking his first time up on a very similar breaking ball on the outside edge. 1-0. Soft ground ball right in front of the plate. They throw to first in time. No! The ball gets away. The ball popped out of Sufrane's glove. 2 more runs will score. It is 5-0. Alvarez in from third. McClowney all the way home from second.
And the throw from Gaviria there sailed into the first base line a little bit, and so you see the ball actually hit the runner, which knocked it out of the glove of Sufrane. I'm surprised that Gaviria didn't think about going home there. I think he may have had to play at the plate if he tried. But man, about as bad of a start as you could ask for.
Robert Tate.
Here is the 9th batter of the inning, Robert Tate. Already 5 runs in the frame for Jackson State. And the Wildcats are right back where they were yesterday. Squares to bunt, bunts it foul.
See, the last 2 batters are the kind of contact that Gaviria wants to get out there, that really slow rollers or rollers right to guys in their positions on the infield. But it just hasn't gone the way of the Wildcats.
Yep. The error at short that could have potentially ended the inning as well. Fastball outside, 1-1. And then the 2 runs scoring on the wild throw to first. A squares to bunt, bunts it foul again. 1-2 does Tate. They did give Montesano a bunt single. So Jackson State playing BCU ball right now. A lot of small ball. Just a lot of ground balls through the infield. A couple of hard hit singles. And it's 5-0 on 7 hits. Pitch. Pop foul out of play. Still 1-2.
Jackson State has certainly looked the part of the team that we saw come in this weekend, leading the SWAC in steals. Close to the top of the NCAA lead in steals. Doesn't necessarily mean the steals have been what's done it, but the speed on the base pass, the athleticism, struck early.
They go back to first. Back in is Montesano. Hibbler is at third, Montesano at first. First and third, 1 out. 5 already in the inning for Jackson State. Pitch. Breaking ball doesn't find the top of the zone. 2-2. Southern actually has the lead in stolen bases in the SWAC right now. Ball in the dirt, 3-2 at 89. Jackson State 81. Bethune-Cookman fourth with 65. Funnily enough, Florida A&M, who's in second place in the East right now, is last in steals. Pitch. Off the end of the bat, tap back to the screen. Still 3-2.
A lot of different ways to win in this league. Teams out west in particular love to get out and run, but that doesn't mean you have to do it to succeed.
The 3-2. Swung on, popped high in the air to left field. Chun tracking it. He makes the catch. Tagging from third and coming home is Hibbler. Throw to the plate, cut off. And it's another run for Jackson State. It is 6-0. And the Tigers have batted around. Here's Joseph Eichelberger, who led off the inning with a play that's been kind of typical of this inning for the Wildcats. That little bloop double into shallow right that nobody could track down. A little bit of miscommunication.
Like we said, the inning started. It's allowing those innings, those issues to compound. That's been the problem.
Now a runner on first and 2 down for Eichelberger. They check over to first. Tate gets back. First pitch, swing and a miss. Breaking ball ended up scraping the dirt off the plate, and it's 0-1. Bavaria's not been getting ahead in counts. That's the other issue. It has been having to throw stuff over the middle, try and get back in at bats. That one hit in the air to center field. Moving over Rivera, he makes the catch, but oh boy. 6 runs, 5 hits, 1 error, and 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the second. It's now 6-0 Tigers. To the bottom of the second we go. It's 6-0 Jackson State after a 6-run top of the inning. It'll be Manny Sufrain to try and get the first Wildcat hit of the contest off of Eric Gonzalez, who now has all the run support he needs. Righty to lefty, here's the first pitch. Check swing inside, no swing, and it's ball one. Sufrain batting .259. 20 runs on 21 hits, 7 doubles, 1 triple, 1 homer, and 22 RBIs. He smacks this one to right field. There's a base hit. That landed in almost the exact same place that his game-tying RBI did last night.
He's been living in that right field corner for a lot of the last handful of games now. A great way to start off an inning. Tell your guys, hey, listen, down but not out. We saw it last night. Never over till it's over. Keep the message of Coach Hernandez at the top of your mind. Work the starter. Try to get to the bullpen. Do your thing.
Here is Jorge Gonzalez Fabo. And the first pitch to him, a breaking ball strike, catches the bottom of the zone. Fabo, the freshman, batting .203. Here's the 0-1. Fastball down the middle, 0-2. 8 runs on 16 hits, 4 doubles, 2 homers, and 8 RBI. 0-2. Breaking ball swing and a miss, strike 3. And Jorge Gonzalez Fabo strikes out for the 23rd time this season in 79 at bats.
That breaking ball is kind of a mirror of what we saw from Williams last night. It works. It starts out on the inner half of the plate to right-handers and then works back over the heart of it. It's a hard one to swing at.
Here's another freshman, Michael Rodriguez, fouls one straight back. Or didn't he make contact? No, he didn't make contact. The ball just got away. And down to second goes Manny Sufrain on, I'm not sure if we'll call that a pass ball or wild pitch. Stats have it as pass balls, we'll call it that. Sufrain now at second, 0-1. Strike at the knees, and it's 0-2. That's the difference from Gonzalez pitching with that lead. He can be more confident trying to start batters off with those pitches in the zone. He's up 0-2 for the second straight batter. The pitch is in the opposite batter's box, 1-2. Rodriguez got a pitch hit single against UCF on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday started at Florida State, 1-2. In the dirt, nice corral by Cabeza to keep Sufrain at second, 2-2. Against FSU, he had 2 singles and a run scored in 4 plate appearances in his first start at the collegiate level. And he's staring down the 2-2 from Eric Gonzalez, and the righty deals. And he will wait. Now he'll come to the plate. Grounded toward first, just foul. And all of Rodriguez's singles this year have been seeing eye ground balls through the infield. 2-2. Swing and a miss and a ball in the dirt. Catcher drops the ball. Cabeza will pick it up and throw to first to complete the strikeout. And there's 2 away on back-to-back Ks for Gonzalez.
You know, how hard has it been for this Wildcats team to win on Sundays? It started at the beginning of the year with Stonehill. You win the first 2 games, you drop the third 1-run game. You come out against Maine, you win the first 2, look pretty good doing it, and then you drop a 4-6 decision on Sunday. Same thing with Florida A&M. You drop the extra inning decision in the Sunday game. Even against Alabama A&M last week, a little bit shaky, a team you should take care of business with.
So now 2 away and a runner on second. Here's Ramses Cordova. There's a fastball strike outside corner, 0-1. That's 4 batters faced, 4 first pitch strikes for Gonzalez in the inning. That's a key if you want efficiency in your start. Pitch. Hit high in the air to left field, not that deep. moving over Eichelberger, makes the catch to end the inning. No runs, one hit, one left. We go to the third, 6-0 Jackson State here on the CatEye Network. Top three we go here at the Jack. Wildcats down 6-0. Jackson State trying to make it more here against Daniel Gaviria. First batter up will be the catcher Sebastian Cabeza, who flied to left his first time up back in the second. Lefty to righty, Gaviria steps off before coming set. And now the pitch. Breaking ball, strike at the knees. Cabeza's fly ball to left moved Eichelberger from second to third. He eventually was the first of the 6 runs in the inning, as the Tigers sent 10 batters to the plate. There's a line drive caught by Soufrain at first. Right into the glove.
Showing off the quickness there. Nice instinct to lunge after that ball. Just out of reach of maybe where he was standing. Had to stretch over to make it.
Irvin Escobar is over at the BCU dugout, getting some fresh tape on his wrist.
Tightening the pitch comm, I believe. It's like the old Simon Says games when you were a kid, pressing all the little buttons and hearing all the little noises and everything.
First pitch on the way, a breaking ball strike to Jalen Williams, who singled to left field and scored in the second. Pitch, swing and a miss. Came in with the off speed. Williams wasn't expecting it, was way out in front. And he calls time and will stretch out that right leg. He really bent that leg backwards when he was swinging, went down on one knee. Now Williams stands in. The senior takes strike 3 looking at the knees, and he knew it too.
That's kind of one of those pitches there that if you're Gaviria on the mound and you induce a swing like you did one pitch before, you know you got him. You can do anything right there. Thought maybe we'd see another big swing and a miss just trying to stay alive up there, but instead can't offer at it.
We already see the first visit to the home plate umpire tonight from head coach Omar Johnson. He was all over this officiating staff last night, put the game under protest twice. This time looks like it's a bit more of a friendly conversation.
To follow up, I guess tonight or last night's contest did officially go under protest. It's one of those things that the league office may take a look at it.
With no video, I'm not sure what you can do about it. Breaking ball just misses hitting the left-hander Miles White, who singled up the middle and scored in the second. And it's 1-0. White has bounced between second base and DH, fastball upstairs ball 2, in this series. Two-zero. In the zone, outside corner, 2-1. 2 down, nobody on here in the third. Pitch. Strike on the outside corner. As White doesn't offer at it. How big would a 1-2-3 be here for Gaviria's confidence?
Something like that, you just take a big breath.
And he chops it foul off his leg and outside of first. White stays alive. White batting .280. 16 runs on 21 hits, 3 doubles, 2 triples, 14 RBIs. 2 batters in this Jackson State starting lineup. That one's ripped to right field opposite way for a base hit. Just sat back on the breaking ball and tapped it between the second or shortstop and third baseman.
And those are pitches for Gaviria that you want to keep down so that you can roll guys into weak ground balls or double plays when you need them. When they're staying up like that, guys are able to barrel it up pretty easily. That's where we've seen so much of the damage done early.
Here's one of those players batting under 200 for the season. Letty Alvarez, 191. Breaking ball misses high and away. 1-0, but Alvarez singled up the middle his first time up, came around to score. And he's got White on first with 2 down here in the third. Gaviria winds and throws back to first. White just walks back to first base. He's not even getting that big of a lead. Pitch. Fouled straight back, and it's 1-1. Wildcats do not stop facing tough competition. They'll go to return the favor from South Florida on Tuesday. Here's the 1-1. Strike called, outside corner slider, and it's 1-2. Then next weekend, they have their second road conference series of the season as they begin a very long road trip against Alabama State. Alabama State still a dangerous team despite a slow start to the year. And there's a strikeout. Got the swing and a miss at the breaking ball outside. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the third. It's 6-0 Tigers here on the CatEye Network. Bottom 3, 6-0 Jackson State. Eric Gonzalez goes back to work. His longest outing of the year was his last one, a start against Florida A&M last weekend. That was a game the Tigers lost 10-1. He threw 85 pitches. Before that, 17 against Grambling and 19 against Alabama State. And he threw 2 innings against Mississippi Valley in the middle of their series. First pitch is a ground ball foul outside of third. It's Colton Olison at the plate. As time is called, as a ball escapes and rolls onto the field.
Much like last night, and in this case, you're even more fortunate because it's so early in the game. All you have to do is chip away here. You've got so much time left in this ballgame. You don't have to take the 6 runs back in 1 inning.
There's a strike at the knees, and it's 1-2. Catcher sets up a way outside the 1-2 pitch in the opposite batter's box, 2-2. Olson hitting 209, 10 runs on 19 hits, 5 doubles, 9 RBI. Had a big double last night to kickstart the BCU rally in the 8th. And the 1-2 lifted foul straight back, and the count holds. Holton is somebody who the Wildcats would love to get hot at the plate. Very much a setup man for the top of the order. In the 9 spot, 1-2. Chops it foul just to third base side. He barely got up to that one, as that was a curveball that was breaking away from him.
Momentum just trying to reach out for that ball carried him halfway down the first base line.
Now, if that is just like a swinging bunt fair, I give him a fair chance to make it all the way there because of that momentum. We'll see another 1-2 here. Gonzalez winds and fires. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Olson out front, and there's a strikeout. Third of the day for Gonzalez.
Yeah, fooled him. Olson was halfway through his swinging motion by the time that ball was halfway to the plate. Definitely guessing hard stuff there.
Here's Sergio Rivera. Wildcats start their second time through the order. Sergio popped out just behind third base in foul territory to lead off the game. And the first pitch to him is a ball low, 1-0. This is the first time I can remember Rivera getting the start at leadoff. Mostly a guy that's been towards the middle of the order with the shuffling around of some players today. Bats in the first spot. Check swing, ball high, 2-0.
It's always interesting to watch how the lineup changes from game to game, and particularly just as you get closer and closer to the tournament, trying to find that perfect combination that you feel comfortable with heading into games that matter.
2-0. That one lined to right field. Moving over, McCloudy makes the catch. And there's 2 away. Wildcats definitely found that perfect lineup last night. Or last year, rather. They started the same 8 players in the field every game at the conference tournament. Went all the way to the finals. And here's a guy that was a big part of that tournament run, Garrett Chun. First pitch to him. Line drive up the middle, there's a base hit. First pitch swinging, he just took that breaking ball right back where it came from.
That breaking ball doesn't have a ton on it. It's a little bit of a hanger, not a ton of late break to it. So if you can keep your eye on it, stay with it, stay behind it, you can take advantage of it like that.
Here's Irvin Escobar with 2 down in the third and Chun aboard. He flew out to center his first time up. Chun's been on base twice, a walk and a base hit. First pitch to him, low ball 1. Irvin batting .353, 51 at bats, 8 runs, 18 hits, a double, a triple, and 12 RBIs. Gonzalez up to 39 pitches. Runner goes. Here's the throw down to second. It is high, and Chun is in there safely with a stolen base.
Trying to manufacture those runs early. Don't mind the run there with 2 outs on the board, just trying to put that pressure on. Trying to sneak one through.
Garrett Chun picked up his 9th steal of the season. And the count is 2-0. Pitch in the zone, 2-1. Irvin's been up in some big spots, including last night. He was the batter when that walk-off error happened. Chun leads off second, 2 down in the bottom of the third. Here's the 2-1. And he skies one up. First base side, foul territory near the dugout. The catcher, Cabeza, makes the catch, and that ends the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left for the second straight inning for the Wildcats. We go to the 4th, 6-0 Jackson State here on the CatEye Network. Jordan McClatty leads off the top of the fourth for Jackson State. The Tigers have a 6-0 lead. They've already hit the ball 8 times. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball. McClatty, a junior from Augusta, Georgia. He is 2 for 2. And another swing and a miss at a ball in the dirt. 0-2. Singled and was caught out trying to stretch it to a double in the first, and butt singled and scored in the second. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That is 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and about the quickest K you'll ever see.
A very, I mean, I hate to put it like this, but pretty sorry at bat. I mean, just kind of waving at 3 pitches. Didn't look like he even wanted to be up there.
And none of those pitches were in the zone either. All 3 were right close to the plate. Now here's Hibbler. First pitch to him. It misses upstairs 1-0. McClatty was out so fast, I didn't even get to my point. That's fouled away 1-1 by Hibbler. McClatty is from Augusta, Georgia. Just a few things going on there this week.
Anything important?
Golf tournament. Something like that. Fouled away again, 1-2.
Hello, friends.
My dad was watching the drive, chip, and putt national finals this morning. There's a line drive to center field. That is going to drop right in front of Rivera for a base hit. So every time that it seems like Gaviria is going to get some momentum, there's that hard line drive. Most of them have been right back up the middle. White, Alvarez, and now Hibbler have singled up the middle.
And, if you think about it, Bethune-Cookman put up 6 runs against Jackson State in the series opener here. And then the starter, Garrett Van Deventer, settled down and was really excellent.
Yeah.
So who's to say Gaviria can't turn it on and do something similar?
He's going to have to be pretty efficient, already up to 68 pitches. After a check over to first, here's the first one to Lenny Montesano. Then I'll actually check over to first again. Montesano struck out looking in the first. Bunt singled in the second. That was the one where Gaviria tried to cover, and the throw to first hit Montesano and allowed 2 runs to score. Now the first pitch to Lenny is upstairs, ball 1. I guess you want to look for a positive in Gaviria's outing. He hasn't walked anybody. 1-0, outside 2-0. He only has 9 walks in 40 innings on the season. But he's behind 0-2 here to Lenny Montesano. A long hold. Not sure why we're holding. Now we're back to action. 2-0. Swing and a miss. It's that same, I want to call it a slider. Maybe it's a curve that just kind of dips towards the plate. A lot of late breaking action on it. But it ends up in the dirt, and these Jackson State hitters are waving at it. Let's see if he throws it again. Here's the 2-1. They go back to first.
It's a difference from what we saw in the first handful of innings here. Jackson State was kind of waiting it out. They saw early it wasn't finding the zone, so they weren't offering at it, and now that's changed.
2-1. High fly ball to left field and deep. Going back, Sean, he will watch it fly into the batting cage. A 2-run home run for Lenny Montesano, his team leading 5th of the year, and it's 8-0 Jackson State.
That ball was hit almost higher than it was far. That ball was launched. Wind helped it a little bit carry all the way out there, but that, make no mistake about it, was a no-doubter. Montesano had an outstanding weekend, has just looked so dangerous at the plate every time he's been up there. He's been a thorn in everybody's side.
And now some work being done in the BCU bullpen, as this is looking less like an Alabama State and more like a UCF type game here at the Jet.
So again, it's when the contact looks like that for Gaviria early in the game, when it's those high fly balls. He's not a guy who works to fly balls. There's plenty of guys, especially in the hard throwing age of baseball we're in now, that let their outfield do the work, that feed off of those balls in the gaps, those big fly balls that allow their outfielders to get under it. Gaviria is not that kind of guy. So when you see the hard contact early, when you see the outfielders being put to work, when it's not those ground balls, you could spell a short day coming pretty quickly. And for Gaviria, it's getting closer and closer to being the end.
And I think it might be, as Coach Hernandez is going to go out to talk to Daniel Gaviria. The infield comes in. That's a tough one for Gaviria, and he came into the season with a lot of expectations, right? Preseason SWAC Pitcher of the Year, and he just has not lived up to those expectations this year. That's going to be the end for Gaviria. Just after only 4 1/3.
Just not been the kind of start to the year that that he could hope for. And I don't know. A lot of it, I look back to the championship game against Florida A&M when he came in relief and got handed pretty quickly, got handled by the Rattlers, and it just doesn't seem like he's necessarily been the same guy since then. He kind of trailed off a little bit in the entire second half of last year after a really strong open to the season in non-conference play. I just don't know what the recipe for fixing Daniel Gaviria is. I think in the short term, though, you probably have to start giving somebody else a look in the weekend rotation, give him a chance to find himself in midweekers, in relief, and kind of see what you have. He's not a great arm that necessarily plays in relief because he's a guy that works to contact, so you don't necessarily want to put him in with runners on. But it's proven over the last couple weekends that he needs a break from that Sunday start to try to get his head right.
Gaviria faces 21 batters in 4 1/3 innings. Correction, 3 1/3 innings. Throws 72 pitches. Gives up 8 runs on 11 hits. And he will be replaced by Patrick Rourke. First batter Rourke will face is Robert Tate Jr. Bases clear, 1 out after the home run by Montesano. Patrick Rourke, a right-hander, and his first pitch is spiked. Bounced it over the head of Escobar into the backstop. That's just been that kind of day for Bethune-Cookman. Rourke, a senior from Land O'Lakes, transferred from Barton College. Pitch. That one grounded towards short. Cordova fields and fires, and there's 2 away. It'll bring up Joseph Eichelberger.
Fielder number 1, Joseph Eichelberger.
Had that fluke double to lead off the second. It just dropped in between Olison and Rodriguez.
One of those plays you can't call an error because mental mistakes aren't errors.
First pitch inside, ball 1. Then he flew out to center field to end the second. He was the first batter and the 10th batter of that inning, where the Tigers played at 6. And he pops one up foul, first base side. That'll go out of play. Count 1-1. Patrick Rourke, the former DeLand Sun in the Florida Collegiate Summer League. Fastball low, 2-1. This season, Rourke in 13 1/3 innings pitched has got a 4.05 ERA. He's allowed 7 runs on 10 hits, 6 earned. Pitch. Fouled away, and it is 2-2. He struck out 11, walked 12, given up 3 homers, 2 doubles, and thrown 261 total pitches before coming on today. And the 2-2. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Eichelberger had no idea where that one was. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, none left. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. 8-0 Jackson State as they add 2 more here on the CatEye Network. Bottom four, Wildcats looking for something. Down 8-0 to Jackson State, the final game of this 3-game series. The Wildcats have already claimed it. But Bethune-Cookman is in danger of losing that first place spot in the East if Florida A&M sweeps Alabama State today. Here's the first pitch from Eric Gonzalez. Breaking ball right in there for strike one to Jose Gonzalez, who popped out to shallow right his first time up. 0-1. Outside 1-1. Wildcats only a half game ahead of the Rattlers. Gonzalez, the opposite of Ted Guevara. He likes to take his time on the mound. That one's popped sky high behind third base. Montesano makes the catch, one down.
You know, I don't think the Wildcats are scoreboard watching necessarily this early in the season, especially when all your big series against these teams. You know, you haven't seen Bama State yet. You still got Florida A&M on the road, Jackson State on the road. You're not going to get into the habit of being a little uneasy when you see scores go a certain way. Make no mistake about it, they want that 1 seed.
I think if they don't get the 1 seed, here's the first pitch to Manny Sufrain, ball in the dirt. Then it's important to get the 2 or the 3 and not slip to 4. You don't want to be on the same side of the bracket as Florida A&M and have to face them early. 1-0 to Sufrain. Inside, called a strike. Sufrain single to right in the first. Then reached second on a pass, ball was stranded there. Strikeout, flyout. He holds his swing. The pitch goes high, 2-1. And if we look back on this series at the end of the season, here's the pitch. There's a ball outside, 3-1. If we look at the individual performances, I think Manny Sufrain is someone whose stock has gone up this weekend, especially defensively. Gonzalez behind 3-1. Here's the pitch. Way upstairs, ball 4. And Sufrain has now reached base successfully in both of his trips, and that'll bring up Jorge Gonzalez-Febo, struck out swinging his first time up on a curveball.
Sufrain is just so valuable in that lineup. Hitting just 259, but with the 478 on base percentage, he just knows how to get on.
He hits the ball so hard often, Sufrain. They'll spin and throw it back to first. That was a bit of a half-hearted throw to first from Gonzalez. But with how hard he hits the ball, yes, he draws walks, but he forces errors. First pitch to Febo. High pop, foul territory, first base side. That will make the Turtles' Nest seating area on the right-hand side. This place will be buzzing on Tuesday. The Wildcats will be in Tampa to take on USF, but the Tortugas will be here, their first home game of the season. 0-1 to Febo. Couple of nods from Gonzalez, and Fabo grounds at foul third base. I was talking to Daryl Natil, who does our football broadcasts, and some of our baseball broadcasts, before the game today. We were talking about former Wildcat Nolan Santos, who's in the Florida State League with the Fort Myers Mighty Muscle. Spinning a throwback to first again. Sufrain is safe. Gotta have to keep a watch on that for when Fort Myers comes here to see if there's a day he's pitching. Get some Wildcat support out for him. Breaking ball in the dirt. Sufrain will hold it first. Count 1-2 to Gonzalez-Febo.
A lot of Wildcats talent across the state of Florida. Anthony Maldonado was assigned to AAA with the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. He figures to probably make his foray into the major leagues here pretty soon.
1-2. Ground ball to the left side. There's a base hit as it sneaks past the glove of Montesano at third. So 2 straight hits. A walk and a hit. And there's 2 on, 1 out. And if anybody needed that, it's Jorge Gonzalez-Febo. He's in a massive slump at the moment. Batting average has slipped all the way down to 203 after he started the year on an absolute tear.
Just chip away. That batting average at the score here, Don't try to do too much, just chip away.
Here's the other freshman, Michael Rodriguez, struck out his first time up. Pitch out, trying to catch the double steal, ball one. Everybody stays where they are. With Soufrain as your lead guy, I'm not sure you're trying a play like that here. Gonzalez stares in. Rodriguez, the lefty hitter, waits, and the pitch. Ground ball to short, on to second for one. Long throw to first. It pulls the first baseman off the bag and gets away. Soufrain's going to walk home from second, and the Wildcats are on the board. It's 8-1.
That's the kind of play right there that Jackson State was done in by last night. You know, a tough throw for the shortstop Tate there at second base. Kind of tried to leap off the bag and make the throw over, but just rushed it a little bit. Got to be more focused on fundamentals out here, does Jackson State, or else you're going to risk a turnaround from the Wildcats like you saw last night.
It would be some monumental turnaround today. Last night they were only down by 5. Now they're down by 8. First pitch off the end of the bat, foul from Ramses Cordova. Flew out to left field to end the second and strand Soufrain on second. Right now it's Michael Rodriguez on second. And another trip to the base paths for Rodriguez. I know he's not played a ton of ball, but his on base percentage is almost 600. Breaking ball swing and a miss from Cordova. He's another one of those guys that started hot at the plate and has cooled off a little bit. Batting average down to 209. 2 outs in the fourth, 1 already in. Rodriguez on second. Gonzalez the 0-2. In the dirt, 1-2. It's the end of a long all homestand for Bethune-Cookman. Long look in again from Gonzalez. Nobody covering second. Here's the pitch. Break ball outside. 2-2. It always happens this way. You have (23) of your first 31 games at home. And then you play the majority of the rest of your season on the road. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with the curveball, and the inning is over. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left. And we go to the 5th inning of play, 8-1, Jackson State, here on the CatEye Network. Sebastian Cabeza leads off the 5th for Jackson State. They've got an 8-1 lead over Bethune-Cookman. Wildcats plated a run in the bottom of the 4th. Pop straight up and will go out of play. Hit the roof right above our heads. Be a strike 1. Patrick Rourke on for his first full inning of work after getting the last 2 outs of the 4th. Games going on in the SWAC today. Alabama State finishing up their 3-game series with Florida A&M Tallahassee. Ground ball to short, Cordova Fields, and throws over one away. So, 2 pretty routine putouts for Ramses in the last 3 plate appearances for Jackson State. Other games going on, Alabama A&M and Mississippi Valley State. Prairie View hosting Grambling, and then Southern hosting Pine Bluff. All the other series are done for the weekend. They had doubleheaders yesterday.
Bama State with a 6-0 lead at the top of the fourth.
Hit hard to left field and deep. Going back, Chun, track, wall, it is gone. First pitch home run for Jalen Williams, his second of the season, and it's 9-1.
Jackson State hitters feeling themselves. Seeing that emotion back in the dugout that we saw so much last night. These SWAC teams are never one to roll into a late inning situation or a Sunday after dropping the first 2 and phone it in. They're here to play. That's one of the reasons the SWAC tournament is so entertaining every year. Is these teams don't quit.
Jalen Williams that was only his 3rd at bat of the series. Didn't play the first 2 games. The senior from Fontana, California. Here is Miles White, has 2 singles and a run scored in the game. Chops one foul, 0-1. Already 12 hits for Jackson State. Breaking ball strike 0-2 to White from Gork. And at this point, I think if you're the Wildcats, just try and piece the rest of this game together from a bullpen standpoint. Breaking ball just missed high. And it's 1-2. Coach Hernandez not agreeing with that call, and I don't really agree with it either. Pitch in the dirt. Oh, he hit him. Got him on the foot. And it's a hit by pitch. So maybe what should have been a strike 3 puts another runner on for Jackson State. First free pass of the game given up by Wildcat pitching. And there's 1-on-1 out for Letty Alvarez.
Maybe the fortunate thing for BCU at this point is you haven't had to use a whole lot of relief arms. There's plenty of availability in the pen. I think we may even see Pablo Torres at some point today, the closer, just to get some work in because he hasn't had any to this point this weekend.
Thought we might see him on Friday, but it was actually Dylan Dudonis. He's been a spot starter to come in and get the save in the first game of the series. First pitch to Alvarez is low. Correction, this is still Miles White. I guess that didn't hit him. So the count is 3-2. Pitch fouled away. Did it not look like he took off his arm guard and walked to first?
It did. It did.
An odd AB here. 3-2. Inside now, it's ball 4. So now we'll bring up Letty Alvarez, who singled in the second, struck out in the third. Scored on that single in the second as well. He was part of the
number 24, Letty Alvarez.
bunt single 2-run infield play that Gaviria off the mound couldn't make. 1 on, 1 out, 1 already in on the solo shot by Jalen Williams. Spinning a throw back to first. Safely in is White. Letty Alvarez, the sophomore from Ecuador. And a transfer from Allen College at the Division II level. They go over to first again. Soufrain gets tangled up with White. Miles comes up holding his shoulder.
Gave him a hug there, trying to keep that ball from sailing into the dugout.
We've seen this come back to hurt the Wildcats with some wild throws over there. That incessant throw into first. First pitch from Gork to Alvarez is inside ball 1. Big day in the world of sports. Women's national championship game tonight, or I guess this afternoon, coming up in about half an hour. Squaring to bunt, pitch goes high, and it's 2-1. Or sorry, 2-0. And of course, the men's championship game tomorrow. And I mentioned it earlier, but the most important sporting event of the week, opening day for the Daytona Tortugas on Tuesday.
If you haven't been to a Tortugas game at any point, Highly encourage you to check them out this year.
Swing and a miss. And it's 2-1. The fastball blew right by Alvarez. Unlike most of the pitchers in this rotation for Bethune-Cookman, I think Groark's best pitch is his fastball, rather than his best pitch being the off speed. That one low, 3-1.
Yeah, for many of these arms, the fastball is kind of just a tool in the toolbox to be able to pick a spot when you have to have it or change things up. But he's got one with a little bit of movement. It's not quite as flat as some others that we see on this staff and got some velocity to it.
3-1. In the dirt, ball gets to the backstop. It won't matter because it was ball 4, so 2 straight walks for Groark. And here comes Coach Hernandez, and not going to be the end for Patrick.
Start of the bullpen carousel that we may see the remainder of today. Visibly frustrated on the mound is Groark.
Stay up to date with everything Bethune-Cookman Athletics by checking out the Wildcats on social media. Give BCU Athletics a like on Facebook and follow the Wildcats on Twitter and Instagram at BCU_athletics. For the latest BCU baseball, follow at BCU Diamondcats on Twitter and Instagram. Other games going on in the SWAC right now. It's 7-0 Alabama State over FAMU. So the two teams avoiding sweeps in the Sunshine State this afternoon. Mississippi Valley State and Alabama A&M tied 0-0 in the second. And Prairie View A&M and Grambling State are just underway. Of course, we don't see the West. Weird quirk of the SWAC schedule right now. We only see the West in the playoffs. And like the East, the West has a pretty clear top 4. Grambling State, Southern, and Texas Southern at the top. Prairie View in there as well. And then Pine Bluff and Alcorn State a far way back already. But it is something that it is being worked on behind the scenes to potentially go to a balanced schedule in the SWAC baseball, kind of like something like basketball has, where you miss one team every year on the other side, but you play everybody once, alternating home and away every year instead of playing everybody in your division twice, home and away.
Yeah, and of course, some of those long road trips comes with their own financial concerns for teams like Bethune-Cookman, especially that's so far away from everybody else and having to put in a lot more effort to get out to places like Alcorn, Prairie View, etc. I think the key for that, for the whole schedule to finally crystallize, is going to be figuring out between splitting that home and away and organizing your schedule in such a way that you can be as efficient as possible when scheduling those longer road trips and making it an easier sell to administrations like at Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M, who have to worry about that big extra travel check that'll come their way if they're playing teams out west.
The new pitcher for Bethune-Cookman is the junior out of Port St. Lucie, Jeffrey Gonzalez. Transfer in from Indian River State. On the season, making his 10th appearance, he's got a 4.50 ERA in 14 innings pitched, giving up 9 runs on 14 hits, striking out 17 and walking 11. He's given up 3 doubles, a triple, a homer, 6 wild pitches, and 6 hit-by pitches, which are the numbers you don't want to see. But everything else looks like a promising middle relief prospect for this team going forward.
Yeah, the Wildcats went to him a lot early. He was one of the first go-to guys that they saw out of the pen. He's had some good outings. He's had some less stellar ones. It's going to kind of be a matter of which version of Jeffrey Gonzalez shows up, especially when you get into situations that aren't quite as cushiony as this one.
He'll face the top of the order, Jordan McGladdy, with 2 on and 1 out after back-to-back walks by Groark to end his time on the mound. First pitch is low in the dirt, ball 1. McGladdy singled in the first one, was caught out trying to stretch it to a double. Then reached on a bunt single in the second and scored. Struck out in the fourth. He's already on his 4th plate appearance. Swing and a miss at a fastball inside. 1-1 the count. And we're already starting the 4th time through the order here in the 5th inning. Keep having to remind myself that Jackson State batted around, so I'm an inning ahead on my score sheet. Pitch in the dirt, ball 2. But Gonzalez has some good stuff. Nice bite on the fastball, has a little bit of tail to it. Can go with a pretty fast slider as well, but it's the accuracy and consistency. They throw back to second, sliding in safely is Miles White. White's on second. Alvarez leads off first after 2 straight walks. To begin the inning, Cabeza grounded out to short, then Jalen Williams hit a long home run to left center. 2 home runs in the game for Jackson State today. Pitch. Swing and a drive. Deep right field. Going back, Rodriguez. He makes the catch near the track. Tagging and going to third is Miles White, so there's 2 outs and runners on the corners.
Wow, Miles White's fast, man. I thought there was a small chance there. He rounded third and headed for home because he was all the way down to third base.
Number 3, Rodney Hitler.
Maybe a half a second, it seemed like, after the catch was made out there in right center.
And he's still favoring that shoulder that Manny Sufrain kind of landed on. In that pickoff attempt over at first. Here's Rodney Hibbler, 2 outs, runners on the corners. Righty to righty, Gonzalez deals. Breaking ball inside, ball 1. Hibbler doubled in the first, was stranded on third. Reached on an error and scored in the second, then singled and was brought in on the Montesano home run in the fourth. And the pitch is low. Escobar had to fight to keep that one out of the backstop, and it's 2-0. Again, it's just consistency with Gonzalez, trying to keep that pitch in the zone or close to it. Fouled away, 2-1. Coming up for Jackson State, they'll play Grambling in a midweeker on Tuesday. Grambling in a midweeker on Tuesday. That's their second game of the year against Grambling. Fastball misses outside 3-1. Then they have a series against Alabama A&M at home next weekend. And then Alabama State at home the weekend after. So runner goes to second. Doesn't matter because it's ball 4. 3 walks in the inning, and the bases are loaded for the man who hit a home run last inning, Lenny Montesano.
Third baseman number 21, Lenny
He's got to be
Montesano.
salivating at the thought of another shot at it here. Plenty more activity churning down there in the Wildcats bullpen. Like we said, plenty of arms are available down there, so we could see a healthy dose of bullpen action for BCU if nobody can come in and settle things down.
Wildcats down 9-1. Fastball inside, swing and a miss from Montesano. Gives Jeffrey Gonzalez a bit of a nod. Says, all right, you got me with that one.
I think he was swinging either way on that one. Wanted to try to jack one.
Gonzalez deals. Breaking ball. Line drive through the middle, base hit. That'll bring home 2. White scores from third. Alvarez from second. 2 RBI single for Montesano. It is 11-1.
And I think that's the difference between a mature and an outstanding hitter in Lenny Montesano and some of the younger Wildcats. George Gonzalez-Fabo, one of them, who he takes that big hack on the first pitch, nowhere close to it, clearly trying to drive something. But then one pitch later, he takes one the other way, just doing what he has to do, what's available to him, punching the ball through the infield.
So it'll be Hibbler on second, Montesano on first. Here's Robert Tate Jr. takes a ball outside. And the Wildcats have gone to the opposite direction. Pitches were too easy when it was Gaviria. Now they can't find the strike zone at all. There's a breaking ball foul back. And the count 1-1 to Tate.
And that is where you see the value of Daniel Gaviria as the ball's going to sail in on the infield from the bullpen out there. He can find the zone. He's proven that he's been able to do that. It's just maybe mixing in some pitches that maybe aren't in the zone or a little more deception to try to miss bats or induce more weak contact.
1-1, breaking ball outside corner. There's a strike. 1-2. And from pretty much nowhere, it's another big inning for Jackson State. 3 in the frame. Upstairs, the ball gets to the backstop. Everybody moves up 90 feet. Hibbler to third, Montesano to second on the wild pitch. Wild pitch number 7 on the season for Jeffrey Gonzalez.
At this point, doesn't feel like you can go more than a handful of pitches for the Wildcats before something quirky happens.
And Gonzalez probably just wanted to get out of this inning. He'll be replaced next time. Probably pitch. Breaking ball inside. Count runs full. 2 now throwing in the VCU bullpen. And somebody lazily going at it over there in the Jackson State pen. I think that might just be the starter, Gonzalez, trying to stay warm. Ground ball right back to Gonzalez. He snags it and underhands to first to end the inning. 3 runs, 2 hits, bases left loaded. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. It's 11-1 Jackson State here on the CatEye Network. To the 5th we go, and the Wildcats are now trying to fight against being run ruled on their own ground here, down 11-1. It'll be the 9-hole hitter, Colton Olison, who struck out his first time up, leading off for the Cats. Eric Gonzalez still out there. He's thrown 62 pitches, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just let him cruise through the rest of this contest. First pitch ball outside.
And if you're Coach Hernandez at this point, you're still looking to see the fight from your guys. There's going to be a healthy conversation after the game regardless.
And he pops one up on the infield, does Olison. Second baseman moves over. Alvarez makes the catch, 1 away. Lots of weak pop-ups for the Wildcats today.
It's a weak contact in general. Only a handful of guys have been able to hit the ball hard.
And Sufrain's got one. Fabo had one. Michael Rodriguez had one, and that's about it. Everybody else soft contact or strikeouts. Top of the order, here's Sergio Rivera. He's had 2 of those pretty soft outs. Breaking ball finds the inside corner for strike 1. Popped out to third in the first. Flied out to right in the third. And Gonzalez deals. Fastball high. This is a spot start, I think, from Eric Gonzalez. I'm pretty sure that Christian Womble was supposed to start today. And they used him last night inside ball 2 to try and save that game. He threw an inning and 2/3, did Womble, and so wasn't able to go today, at least to start. So Eric Gonzalez comes in, and he's done what he needed to do, and he's gotten more than enough run support. There's another ball inside, 3-1. But something tells me with the run support Jackson State's given today, you and I could be out there and it'd be about the same result. Here's the pitch. Outside ball 4. Only the second walk of the game given up by Gonzalez, and there's a runner aboard with 1 out. And here's Garrett Chun, who has one of those pieces of nice contact we were talking about earlier. Singled up the middle in the third, walked to the first. He's trying to go 3 for 3 on the day.
Showing that veteran leadership that he's shown so much this year.
Nice bounce back performance individually by Chun, spinning a throwback to first. After going 0 for 4 last night, started off reaching all first 2 times today. But there's been almost nothing around him. Pitch. Ground ball towards first. They go to second for 1, back to first. It's a double play.
No, he wasn't anywhere near the bag. I don't think they got Chun at first.
Yeah, it looked good to me. But I guess Chun will be safe. It'll be a fielder's choice.
Because the second baseman cut it off. It looked like Alvarez stepped in front of Williams at first. Cut the play off just in case it was a risk of being thrown away. A late developing decision to go to second for the double play.
Yeah, so it was a ground ball to first. Williams threw it to Tate, the shortstop who was coming the bag. Tate threw it back. But as you said, it was cut off. I was watching the first baseman. And so there's 2 away. First pitch fouled off by Urban Escobar, who's fly to center and then popped very weakly straight up behind the plate for his 2 outs. And Gonzalez is 0-1 is a spin and a throwback to first. Would you like to see some of the rule changes that have been implemented at the professional level come to college baseball?
The throwovers, no doubt.
0-1. In the air, right side, not deep. That is going to be caught. A running, sprinting, over-the-shoulder catch from Letty Alvarez, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits, 1 left, and we go to the 6th. It's 11-1 Jackson State here on the CatEye Network. Defensive substitution for Bethune-Cookman as we go to the 6th inning. Jackson State up 11-1. There's also a new pitcher. It's Yoancel Diaz. And he will face Joseph Eichelberger and throw a strike. It's 0-1. The defensive substitution at second base, Colton Olison's day is done. He's replaced by Xavier Cintron. And the righty Diaz deals. Breaking ball missed outside. 1-1. Diaz, a senior from Hialeah down south, went to Miami Springs High School. And he fires a fastball low and away, 2-1. Making his 7th appearance of the season. He's thrown 9 1/3 innings, has an 11.57 ERA. Pitch. Breaking ball, it misses inside, 3-1. He's given up 12 runs on 13 hits, striking out 9, walking 11. Here's a 3-1 to Eichelberger. Tap foul straight back. Eichelberger, no, he just swung at ball 4. So it's 3-2. Diaz has given up 2 doubles, a triple, 4 wild pitches, 1 hit by pitch. And as mentioned before, his ERA is 11.57. Here's the 3-2. Strike 3, got him looking right at the knees, and there's 1 down. He did pitch 1 inning against Alabama A&M. Did very well, gave up nothing. And went 2 against UCF. Gave up 2 runs. Breaking ball strike 1 to Sebastian Cabeza.
Diaz, a member of Bethune-Cookman Student Athlete Advisory Committee, a lot behind the scenes.
He's also been used as a pinch runner in his time here, so not just on the mound. Hasn't had a plate appearance in his career, though.
His first year here, that's pretty much all he did was pinch run.
0-2. Breaking ball swing and a miss. That is as good a 3-pitch mix as you will see. Slider, fastball, curveball, and down goes Cabeza.
Diaz has shown flashes throughout his career of being able to put together ABs like that. None bigger, obviously, than the SWAC tournament last year, where he was really a big part of the Wildcats being able to reach the championship with such a bullpen that was so fatigued from a long week.
Came in and locked down Grambling State in the semifinals. Goes for the curve again and gets a strike call against Jalen Williams, who had a home run last time up. Williams 2 for 3, a homer, a single, a strikeout, 2 runs scored. Pitch. Breaking ball swing and a miss. And it's 0-2.
Certainly helps that Jackson State's been free swinging for a couple of innings now.
Just trying to run the score up and get out of here early. They've got a flight to catch, Jackson State. Get back to Mississippi tonight. Pitch. Breaking ball swing and a miss. 3 straight strikeouts for Yoancel Diaz. And that's a very quick 6th inning. Nothing for the Tigers. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 11-1 Jackson State here on the CatEye Network. To the bottom of the 6th after Yoancel Diaz struck out the side in the top of the inning. Wildcats come back to bat trailing 11-1. Here's Jose Gonzalez. He's popped out weakly twice, once to third, once to right. Good for his first piece of solid contact against Eric Gonzalez, who has been excellent on the mound. Well, I thought I say that. He throws one way in the opposite batter's pocket, ball 1. But we have seen 3 excellent performances by Jackson State starting pitching. Vanderventer, Williams, and now Gonzalez. Friday, the Wildcats jumped on Vanderventer for 6 runs in the first 3 innings, and then he settled down and gave up only 2 hits after that.
Jackson State has played this weekend very much like the type of team we expected them to in a lot of ways.
1-0. In the dirt, 2-0. Then on Saturday, Isaiah Williams went 7 2/3. Held the Wildcats to just 1 run as Jose Gonzalez walks.
Coach Omar Johnson still having issues with balls and strikes, even in the dying moments of this weekend series.
And it'll bring up Manny Sufrain, who's had only one of the good pieces of solid contact we've seen. He singled to right his first time up, walked, and eventually ended up scoring on the throwing error by Alvarez. He hits this one high in the air to right field and deep. Back goes McCloudy. Track, wall, adios amigos.
That's a
Manny Sufrain
It's
over the right field fence.
that's a Bethune-Cookman 2-run home run.
And the Wildcats have closed the gap to 11-3.
That was a tank out there to right field, no doubt about that. Manny Sufrain loves that right field wall. We've seen him crush him out there before, and now the Wildcats stave off the run rule for now. Certainly a long shot to say they're going to give this game a run at any point, but it's good to see some of the big hitters in this Wildcats lineup continuing to show up plate appearance to plate appearance.
Sufrain, we mentioned a big weekend. He continues that. And there's a line drive. Oh, what a catch! Jorge Gonzalez Fabo just got robbed of potentially a double. That was headed to the gap in left center field, and Tate laid out full stretch to make the grab.
Barely got on top of it, too. It was like an ice cream cone-esque catch, the very top of his glove.
And Jorge continues to be snake bit. He did have a soft ground ball base hit earlier in the game. Now with one down, here's Michael Rodriguez. And the count is 1-1. Rodriguez struck out in the second, reached on a fielder's choice. And a part of that fielder's choice was the throwing error that allowed Sufrain to score the opening run of the contest. There's a swing and a miss at a sinker that ended up in the dirt. 1-2. So hasn't been the best home debut for Rodriguez. And he grounds one softly towards short. Charging is Tate, and he bobbles it. Rodriguez is safe. And there's an error.
It's another just fun baseball quirk. You know, you go from play to play, the outstanding leaping, jumping grab, and you compound that with an error on a fairly routine play. A little bit of a bouncing ball, but it had a big enough hop that it should have been easy enough to take care of, but tried to play it off the bare hand. Couldn't do it.
First pitch hitter of, I'm sure, many today for Bethune-Cookman. This is Frankie Feblis hitting in the 8th spot for Ramses Cordova with Rodriguez on first and one out. First pitch from Gonzalez is a breaking ball outside, 1-0. Feblis in his 5th year in college game. And he takes a fastball strike outside corner. Originally from South Florida, started his college career at Pasco Hernando State, last couple of years here at Bethune-Cookman. Someone who's seen some playing time in his career, not ever been a consistent starter.
Dealt with some health struggles throughout his time here at BCU, so it's just a credit to a kid that's stuck with the program, done his part in the locker room, done his part in the classroom, stayed locked in, and tried to take advantage of his opportunities when he's been given them.
1-1, hit him in the head. He shakes it off, claps his hands, and goes to first.
That's one of those ones that, you know, you don't get every day to get a chance to get on base, and plenty of guys would duck out of the way of that ball, just decides to wear it.
And Jackson State lazily sends a couple of people down to the bullpen as head coach Omar Johnson's going to come down and maybe just try and settle Eric Gonzalez down a little bit. Gonzalez up to 85 pitches, which is exactly matching his longest outing of the season. That was against Florida A&M last weekend in a game that the Tigers lost 10-1. Through 85 pitches in just 4 2/3, gave up 4 runs on 8 hits. But today, much better. 3 runs, 4 hits. And we'll see Xavier Cintron take his first AB, hitting for Colton Olison in the 9 spot.
I'm still a little surprised we haven't seen Jackson State a little quicker to go to the bullpen. There's plenty of arms down there who haven't had a chance to get to work yet this weekend.
Cintron, the left-hand hitter, Another Florida State College of Jacksonville product. First pitch to him, way outside. There's runners on first and second with 2 out. 2 already in the inning on the 2-run home run by Manny Sufrain. And the 1-0 from Gonzalez. In the dirt, runners stay put as Cabeza finds it around the feet of Cintron. 2-0. Xavier, originally from Orlando. Product of Cornerstone Charter Academy, originally committed to FIU before going to BCU via the junior college route. That's another ball outside, 3-0. This year, he's played in 8 games, has Cintron, but only 2 at-bats. Pitch. There's a strike to the knees, 3-1. He's been walked 3 times. Has no hits, but he's scored 2 runs because he's often used as a pinch runner because he's very fast on the base paths. 3-1. Upstairs, ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
Well, might be towards the end of what Gonzalez has to give here today, but Wildcats, even if it's the reserve, staying engaged, remaining patient. That's one of the little things that you can do in games like this towards the end of it to just show your coach, hey, listen, I'm not out here just having a joyride on Sunday. I'm still trying to get my quality ABs in.
Here's back to the top of the order, Sergio Rivera. Bases loaded for the Wildcats with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. They're down 11-3. First pitch upstairs, ball 1 to Rivera. And after consistently finding the strike zone for his entire stint on the mound today, Gonzalez has lost his command a little bit. He's given 2 straight free passes, a hit by pitch, and a walk. There's one right down the middle for strike 1. Rivera popped out to third in the first, flew out to right in the third, then walked and was fielder's choiced out in the 5th. And the pitch is a strike outside corner, 1-2. So I think regardless of the outcome, this may be the last batter Gonzalez faces, whether it's the end of the inning or the Wildcats continue it. 1-2. In the dirt, outside corner, 2-2. That was just a garbage pitch trying to get Rivera to swing and miss. Garrett Chun waits on deck. Bases loaded, 1 out. There is action in the Jackson State bullpen now. And the pitch. Ground ball towards third. Steps on third is Montesano. Throws across the diamond, double play. And the inning is over. And another disappointing inning for the Wildcats. They get 2 runs on 1 hit, 1 error, but strand the bases loaded. And we go to the 7th inning. It's 11-3 here on the CatEye Network.
Oh, wow.
Well, after striking out the side in the 6th, Yoansel Diaz is back on the hill for the 7th. He'll face Miles White, who has 2 singles, a walk, and 2 runs scored in 3 plate appearances today. Wildcats have staved off that run rule for now. They're down 11-3. Jackson State would love nothing more than to get out of here early tonight. First pitch, a fastball outside from Diaz, 1-0. Yoansel's best pitch was 100% that curveball. See if he goes back to it. 1-0. Throws another fastball, misses it high, 2-0. Action in both bullpens as both of these teams just play out the end of this 3-game series. Wildcats will take 2 out of 3. They will win their 4th straight series to open the season. Took 2 from Mississippi Valley in a series where the 3rd game was rained out. It's upstairs, 3-1 the count to White. Then took 2 of 3 from Florida A&M, swept Alabama A&M, and now probably 2 of 3 from Jackson State. This game not over. There's a swing and a foul ball out of play left-hand side.
Jumping that Sunday game is just so tough because you leave a series that you really should feel good about that you won with a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth, especially after one like this that you've gotten handled today.
And going into a game on Tuesday against South Florida, here's the 3-2. Inside ball 4. And that was all fastballs from Yoansel Diaz in that at-bat. Again, with the way that curveball was looking in the last inning, I'm surprised he hasn't gone back to it.
It's the mix that was giving him success, not the individual pitches.
To finish my point about today, you're not feeling great leaving this series and going to play a USF team that arguably they should have beat a couple weeks ago. They had the bases loaded in the 9th and couldn't bring the last one home. Breaking ball that time, first pitch to Letty Alvarez. Pulls it back, ball goes low. After he squared to bunt, 1-0. As a ball escapes the BCU bullpen and rolls behind the plate. Marcos Gamboa continuing the Wildcat tradition of the previous day's starter being the ball boy. A 1-0 from Diaz, squaring to bunt, laying it down on the first base side. Sufrain Fields flips to first, Cintrone covers for the out. And there's 1 down.
Yeah, a little bit of late communication from a Wildcats infield that's not necessarily used to playing together. Late commitment from Cintrone to sprint over to first to cover the bag. Probably should be Yoansel Diaz's bag to cover in a lot of situations like that, but the play is made.
So that should go 3-4, not 1-3. 1 away and a runner on second. That's Miles White after his leadoff walk. First pitch, a ball to the top of the order, Jordan McLatty. McLatty singled in the first, caught going to second. Bunt single in the second and scored. Struck out in the 4th. Fly to right in the 5th. 1-0 from Diaz. That one's lined foul into the Jackson State bullpen on the right-hand side. McLatty got all of that one, just was out in front. Yoansel trying to get out of this one clean after striking out the side in his first inning of work. Pitch. Breaking ball, that's a beauty. Drops right into the strike zone. It starts above the head of the batter and ends right in the middle.
It's going to make sure not to get too comfortable with it. If guys are expecting it, it can be a little dangerous. But when you catch guys off guard like that, easy pitch to freeze guys.
1-2. And he got him swinging with another curveball. And there's 2 away.
Started high and then went low with that one. Trying to find an in-between, but comes up whiffing.
Here's Rodney Hibbler He's reached base every time as Hibbler. Doubled in the first, reached on an error and scored in the second, singled and scored in the fourth, and walked in the fifth. And he takes a first pitch fastball strike on the inside at the knees, and it's 0-1. Oh, 1. There's a breaking ball strike, and it's 0-2. I'm going to jinx it by trying to start a conversation with 2 outs. But the week after this, coming week, so not the week where they play USF then Alabama State on the road, after they come home from the Alabama State road trip, here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Escobar fields and throws to first, and well, I don't get to finish my point. What did I say? I was going to jinx it. No runs, no hits, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 7th, 11-3, Jackson State here on the CatEye Network. New pitcher for Jackson State as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Eric Gonzalez departs after giving up 3 runs on 4 hits. The new pitcher is the junior out of Williamstead, Curacao, Jayondrick Lorenz, and he will start his stint on the mound by facing Garrett Chun. Chun has reached base every time, walked in the first, singled in the third, fielder's choice in the 5th. Him and Manny Soufrain have been carrying the load for the offense. There's a first pitch fastball strike from Lorenz, who is a lefty, listed at 5'10", transferred from Monroe College. And from the windup, here's the pitch. Breaking ball taps Chun in the helmet, and he will go down to first. He has been on base all 4 times.
Thankfully, that one's a breaking ball, so it doesn't rattle him too much, just kind of clangs off the top of the shell. Not often you see 2 guys get hit in the head in a game like that.
In back-to-back innings, too. And now here's someone who really needs a pick-me-up at the plate. Irvin Escobar is 0 for 4. A fly out to center and 2 really soft pop-ups. 1 to the catcher behind the plate, 1 to second base on the infield. First pitch to him. Fly ball into shallow right. Long run for McLatty. He slides and he can't make the play. He fires across to third to keep Chun at second, but the first 2 reach base for the Wildcats.
Man, and how difficult has that right corner been? All these right-handed batters coming in and just flicking it out there. For whatever reason, it's been a hot corner in this series and really all season for BCU.
And now here's Jose Gonzalez. Popped out to shallow right his first time up, then popped up to third. Been a lot of soft pop-ups for the Wildcats today. Then he walked and was brought home by the two-run Manny Sufrain homer in the sixth. Never got to Geondrick Lorenz's numbers. I will do so when I can. Here's the first pitch to Gonzalez. It's a breaking ball low, and it's 1-0. Lorenz is making his 10th appearance of the season. He's pitched 24 innings. He's got a 7.13 ERA. He's given up 20 runs on 24 hits. Long look back to second. Now the 1-0. Check swing ball low, 2-0. 19 of those 20 runs have been earned, striking out 29, walking 17. He's allowed 3 doubles, a triple, no homers, 3 wild pitches, and 3 hit by pitches. And once again, his ERA is 7.13. Spinning a throwback to second. Chun in there safely. Chun on second, Escobar on first after a hit by pitch to Garrett to lead it off, and then a little bloop single to right field for Irvin Escobar that McGladdy just saw pop out of his glove out of a sliding attempt. Count is 2-0 to Jose Gonzalez. Pitch upstairs 3-0. And I mentioned earlier in the game that Jose Gonzalez was a freshman. That was a mistake. He is a graduate student. Doesn't change the fact that he's put together a really solid season, leading the team in batting average. Pitch. There's a strike. On the inside corner, 3-1. Gonzalez shakes his head a little bit. He turned away like it was going to be ball 4. But if he puts a good bat on this one, he might be challenging Garrett Chun for that RBI lead on the team. And he watches one right down the middle, and it's 3-2. Out of his hand, I expected Gonzalez to take a rip at that one.
Gonna have to be defensive here.
Full count delivery from Lorenz. And the pitch. Got him looking. Strike 3. From down 3-0, he just watches 3 straight strikes.
Lorenz, really great pitch there. Not a whole lot you can do with that so far in on the hands. Definitely was a strike, but you got to be really quick to be able to get around a pitch like that, let alone put it in a spot that can drive runners in or anywhere in the outfield.
Now Manny Sufrain, who's had a good day at the plate, responsible for all 3 of the Wildcat runs, scored 2 of them, and drove in another with the home run. He singled in the second, walked and scored on an error in the fourth, and hit the 2-run home run in the sixth. And he's got 2 aboard with 1 out against Lorenz. Lefty to lefty, the matchup. Here's the first pitch. Sufrain drills one, base hit through the right side and into right field. Coming home from second is Chun. There will be no throw to the plate. They go to third, and Escobar is out. He slid over the bag and couldn't get back to it in time.
We're going to have a conversation down there at third, but it's much like many situations we see, without the benefit of replay, there's not a whole lot that can happen. I don't think an official had a better look at it than the one who made it a few feet from the plate. And that will be the end of that. But man, Manny Sufrain hits the ball hard. It's like a noticeable difference off the bat when you hear the thud that comes when he hits one, even on the ground there, just gets every piece of it.
So now there's 2 away and just Sufrain on second for Jorge Gonzalez Fabo. And that's really unfortunate for Irvin Escobar, digging hard to try and get to third. And he is thrown out. 9-5. Not often you see that on a score sheet. First pitch to Fabo, upstairs, ball 1. So Sufrain, responsible for all 4 Wildcat runs today. 3 RBI. And he's standing on second. Fabo up with 2 down. Pitch, outside, ball 2. Fabo struck out in the second, singled in the fourth, and was caught in the middle of a double play attempt and then hit a line drive that looked like it was destined for the gap, but it was caught spectacularly at short by Tate. And he swings and foul tips one into the glove, and it's 2-1. Wildcats have been more competitive the last couple of innings, especially as Gonzalez has faded at the end of his stint. Then against Lawrence, fouls one straight back, 2-2. But again, probably just too little, too late. Down 11-4 here. And again, you come back to that start by Gaviria giving up 6 runs in the second inning. Here's the pitch. Inside, ball 3, count runs full on Fabo.
I think that's why USF on Tuesday will be interesting who gets the start there, because whoever doesn't may start to see factor in the weekend rotation. Guys like Dylan Dudonez may have a shot. Joel Correa, of course, is the one we probably would pick if we had to right now to take over a weekend start.
3-2, 2 outs. Swing and a ground ball foul outside of third. Into the Wildcat bullpen. We'll do the full count again. As that ball bounced off of the clubhouse wall and rolls into play all the way on the left field wall. Things you have to deal with when you don't have enclosed bullpens. Bullpens are just down the first base and third base line, in play and in the open. We've seen players trip over the mounds trying to make plays in foul territory. Once again, the 3-2 with 2 down. Pitch. Upstairs, ball 4, and Fabo walks. So the inning continues. It'll be first and second with 2 out. And here's Michael Rodriguez, who's been on base 2 out of 3 times today. Struck out in the first, reached on a fielder's choice in the fourth. And then reached on an error and was stranded on third in the sixth. Part of the Wildcats leading the bases loaded after Sergio Rivera grounded into a double play. Lefty to lefty, first pitch from Lawrence. Way outside, 1-0. Michael Rodriguez, somebody that could very well play his way into a starting spot as we come down the stretch of the season. 1-0. Breaking ball called a strike on the inside corner, 1-1. He definitely has earned it with the way he's played, especially at the plate, over the last 4 games. Long look back to second and a balk. So the runners move up 90 feet. It's now second and third with 2 outs.
And you talk about Rodriguez, if nothing else, even if he doesn't find a solid starting role at some point this year, it's still good to have a player like that who's challenging the everyday guys, keeping guys accountable, making sure you know that there's young guys gunning for your job if you're not willing to pick up and do the day-to-day things that are necessary to succeed.
Count is 1-2. Second and third, 2 down. Pitch way outside. 2-2. Lorenz once again a strike away from getting out of it. And Rodriguez trying to put some RBI on the board. Pitch fouled away, and we'll do it again. Not even sure where that ball went. I just saw it went straight up and somewhere off to our left. Lorenz deals low outside. Did he swing? No. And it's a ball, 3-2. There was a loud shout from Jackson State's dugout wanting that to be strike 3.
At the very least, you earn a little bit of goodwill behind the plate if you just make the appeal down. Ruled no swing.
Wildcats trying not to strand more base runners in scoring position. Ground ball softly hit towards second. Alvarez fields and fires in time, and now the Wildcats do strand 2 more in scoring position. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 left, and we go to the 8th. It's 11-4 Jackson State here on the CatEye Network. New pitcher for Bethune-Cookman as we go to the 8th. Lenny Montesano leads off against the freshman Carlos Roses, making his collegiate debut on the mound right now. Roses, out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. And his first pitch to Montesano is drilled deep left field and gone. Montesano's second home run of the game, and it went the exact same spot his first one did, over the batting cages in left field. Well, welcome to the
Welcome to
big leagues.
Division I baseball, buddy. That's certainly a memorable way to start your collegiate career.
It was a high fastball in on the hands. Montesano turned on it, and just sent it the other way.
A lot of guys love those high fastballs, trying to take them deep. We saw him swing at the one in his last debut that was up by his eyes. I think that one was a little bit too far inside for him to be able to get around it, but he's shown that he wants those pitches upstairs, and he took it the other way.
Third home run of the game for Jackson State. Roses' first pitch to Robert Tate Jr. is low and outside. Montesano's got 2, and Williams has 1. There's a fastball strike, and it's 1-1. Roses, ranked as the 40th ranked Puerto Rican pitcher in the 2023 class by perfect game out of PRO Baseball Academy. Fastball outside, 2-1. And is someone that his coaching staff is high on for the future. But a rude awakening to his first Division I baseball appearance. Breaking ball inside, 3-1.
Certainly didn't get it easy starting off against Montesano, seeing the best hitter we've seen at the Jack in a couple of weekends now. Just thrown right into the fire.
3-1. Little shrug of the shoulders and the pitch way outside. Ball gets to the backstop, doesn't matter. And it's a walk for Robert Tate. So the home run of the walk, and here's Joseph Eichelberger. It's now 12-4. Jackson State in cruise control.
Now batting left fielder, number 1, Joseph Eichelberg.
We'll take 1 win out of this series back to Jackson. Elsewhere around the Southwestern Athletic Conference, where we said there may be no sweep in Tallahassee. There's a bunt attempt goes foul from Eichelberger, 0-1. The Rattlers have come back to take an 8-7 lead. 5 runs in the 4th, 3 in the 5th. They're in the 6th right now. It's 8-7 Rattlers over Hornets.
Alabama State has lost their way.
Check over to first. Tate in safely.
Be a big series here at the Jack in a couple of weekends.
That's the last home series, isn't it? Alabama State. I believe it is.
Either that or they finish with FAMU. I'd have to look.
Last home series. They do finish with FAMU, but that's on the road.
No, actually, they finish with Bama State anyway, and that is at home.
Oh, that is the last.
But they'll
series.
face them on the road first. And
this weekend.
It's going to be catching them slipping a little bit. You don't want to be on the other end of them trying to get right, though. You got to make sure to keep doing to them what FAMU has done to them all weekend.
Roses is 1-1, is bunted found. It's 1-2. Elsewhere around the SWAC, Mississippi Valley State trails Alabama State 4-0, bottom of the 4th. And the only other game that has live stats going on is Grambling State at Prairie View. As I wait for that page to load. Here's the 1-2 from Roses. And he throws back to first, diving back safely to Tate again. Grambling leads Prairie View 5-3 in the bottom of the 5th.
You know, I think the Wildcats, save for maybe someone at the bottom of the SWAC East, I think we're the only program to not play anyone from the West at all due to those non-conference games.
Even Florida A&M played one of those MTEs that had some teams from the SWAC in it.
There's the Cactus Jack Classic and a couple of others. All the HBCU-focused baseball tournaments, but the Wildcats have stayed away from participating in those in favor of getting some more higher quality D1 competition outside of the SWAC.
Breaking ball slapped toward third. That'll be a base hit past the diving glove of Febo. And they'll be first and second with nobody out. Rosas still has not recorded his first collegiate out.
Trying to avoid the dreaded infinity ERA when he walks off the mound. Or we'll see with, I believe it's Colby Lepovsky finishing up, warming up down there, how much longer Rosas will get.
Here's Cabeza. Cabeza, the only Jackson State Tiger to not reach base today, is 0 for 4. Flying out to left in the first. Line to first, and a nice catch by Sufrain in the third. First pitch to him is a bunt right back to Rosas. He goes to first for the out. Runners all move up a base, and it's second and third with one out. So Sebastian Cabeza likely goes 0 for 4 on the night. And here comes Coach Hernandez. So there will be no infinity ERA, but still not really the debut you would have wanted if you're Rosas, giving up the home run, a walk, and a single.
Well, he certainly got a taste of what it's like to play baseball at the Division I level. Like we said, wasn't made easy on him coming against the teeth of this Jackson State lineup. He'll get a long conversation from Coach Hernandez before the bullpen comes to relieve him, just probably talking through a number of different things that come with making your first appearance in a collegiate game. It's a jumping off point, not the one you want, but you still learn a lot from it. And even just to be able to say you've been out there for the first time can go a long way as he continues to work in behind the scenes to try to get back on the mound sooner rather than later.
Come be a part of BCU Athletics and support the CatEye Network. If your business is interested in partnering with us here on the CatEye Network, you can reach out to the Wildcats Athletic Communications Department at BCU Sports Info at Cookman.edu. That's BCU Sports Info at Cookman.edu. And there is no BC without you. Show your support for Bethune-Cookman Athletics by joining the Wildcat Champions Club today. Help us build a championship culture at Bethune-Cookman. You can donate and join at Cookman.scalefunder.com as Colby Lepovsky takes the mound for his warm-up pitches. The junior out of Fort Lauderdale, transfer from Florida State College at Jacksonville. But I wanted to speak on that first read a little bit. We've got lots of irons in the fire here at the CatEye Network, especially over the summer. Going to bring you a lot of fantastic events. Going to close out the season well with softball. We're going to be out at softball for the first time this year next weekend. And, of course, finishing out the baseball season, going to the baseball tournament. But we are eyes set on upping production across the board for next year.
It's been a fun process. We got our legs cut out from underneath us a little bit when it came to baseball this year with the Tortugas' ongoing renovations here behind home plate and in the press box. But make no mistake about it, our team behind the scenes is grinding hard to always continue to up production value, try to add everything that we can to make the viewing experience as full and as close to perfection as possible. That's obviously a process that takes time, whether it's from a staffing perspective, equipment perspective, but the bottom line is that your support can make a big difference, going a long way to help us get to where we want to be quicker. And we're excited about the possibilities here. There's some great programs at this university that deserve all the coverage we can give them, and that's what we're trying to do here at the CatEye Network.
Well, it'll be Colby Lepovsky to face Jalen Williams with one out and runners on second and third here in the top of the eighth. Wildcats down 12-4. Lepovsky making his sixth appearance of the season.
This actually looks like Dudonis. I noticed the no hair for Lepovsky. I thought it was him warming down in the bullpen, but
It
looks like
is Dudonis. So our apologies, as we will scramble to change in the lineup card. First pitch was outside a ball from the righty Dudonis. And a breaking ball upstairs, ball two. Dudonis, a junior, also a transfer from Florida State College at Jacksonville. Great relationship these two programs have. Made 22 starts last year for FSCJ. Pitch. Ground ball towards short. Fielded by Fellis. Throws to first after checking both the runners for out number two.
And it makes more sense to see Dudonis in this spot. Lepovsky's a guy who started the last couple of midweek games, so I figure we'll probably see him again at USF. And Dudonis recording only the third of an inning in this series to this point. Probably the guy the Wildcats hope to take it the rest of the way here.
Well, that third of an inning was pretty big. He came in and got the save on Friday night as the Wildcats held off JSU charge and won that one 6-2. But they did have the tying run at the plate in that game. First pitch, low ball 1 to Miles White. Still second and third now, 2 down in the inning. Dudonis has a 3.86 ERA in 21 innings pitched. He's given up 9 runs on 14 hits, striking out 15 and walking 14. That one tapped softly, first base side. It'll be fielded, and stepping on the bag is Suframe to finish the inning. 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 left. And we go to the bottom of the 8th, 12-4, Jackson State, here on the CatEye Network. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It'll be still Giandric Lorenz on the mound for Jackson State, starting his second full inning of work. He will face Frankie Feblis, who came on in relief for Ramses Cordova. First pitch, a breaking ball high, ball 1. He was hit by a pitch in the 6th in his first at bat, Feblis, and was caught out in the middle of the double play that ended the 5th inning with the bases loaded. 2-0, here's the pitch. Sky high pop foul, first base side out of play. 2 warming in the Jackson State bullpen. Wouldn't be surprised if Lorenz doesn't go the rest of the way here, especially if the Wildcats put some runners on base. There's a ball upstairs, 3-1. Wildcats have not emptied the bench like I thought they might in this game. Just the 3 changes so far. And outside ball 4, Feblis is on for his second free pass of the game. 1 on, nobody out. Here's Xavier Cintron, who also walked in his first plate appearance.
2 guys in the Jackson State pen, I would think similarly may just be trying to get guys in to put in some work on the weekend who would be regularly scheduled to throw.
First pitch, strike on the outer black. Fastball to Cintron. As we wind this weekend series down here at the Jack. 12-4, the Tigers lead. Breaking ball slashes through the zone for strike 2. Cintron didn't really know what to do with that one. And that's Lorenz's best offering, I think, when he comes inside with that slider to righties. Here's the 0-2. Off the end of the bat, foul, right side. Count holds. And every time with 0-2, it's a theme with this Jackson State bullpen. Everybody's setting up outside and low. We saw it with C.J. Lewis last night, unable to hit that spot. Lorenz throws back to first. Feblis is there. Lorenz has done a better job of painting that outside corner. Cintrone watches one just on the outside for ball one. That's a tough pitch to lay off of, especially down 0-2.
Blake behind the plate has been consistent with that call all day. Gaviria wanted it bad early in the game, but he has not given them that outside edge.
1-2. Check swing outside 2-2. The way this SWAC East is shaping up should be a very interesting close to the season. Fouled away, we'll do the 2-2 again. Before results close today, Bethune-Cookman 9-1, Florida A&M 9-2. So if all the games ended right now, FAMU would take a half-game lead over BCU atop the East. Here's the 2-2. Ground ball, snagged at first, but it's out of the glove of Williams, and everybody's safe as it rolls all the way behind the mound. He tried to transfer it while he was sliding, and it hit his knee and popped all the way out of his glove.
Yeah, when he tried to bring his glove up to his throwing hand, just kind of lost it in the speed of the play. It was a nice, very smooth job to get that ball kind of going down to his knee on the knee slide, but just moving a little too quickly for him. They will call that one an error.
So I'll give E3, 2 on, nobody out. Here's top of the order, Sergio Rivera. First pitch to him is a ball low and inside. Rivera 0 for 3 with a walk, and when he did walk, he was out at second at a fielder's choice. Also grounded into a double play to end the sixth, but the Wildcats loaded the bases. That one is launched, but foul just outside of third, and it's 1-1. Rivera has been one of those guys. It just doesn't work consistently enough on the offensive side of the ball. Yes, he's batting .303, but he's been everywhere in the order and hasn't really found a consistent sticking spot yet. Pitch, breaking ball fouled away, 1-2.
I mean, I think with a lot of these Wildcat batters, it's really been the runners left on base and the clutch hitting situations that have forced the shift up and down, trying to find who's best to unlock the proper lineup protection and everything else, hitting in clutch moments, not so much the average.
2 on, nobody out. Spinning a throw back to second. Everybody there safely as Alvarez dropped the ball. It was kind of a lazy throw from Lorenz. If Lorenz fired that in, I think that might have gotten to the center fielder. And you take a risk every time you attempt a pickoff. 1-2. Breaking ball, strike 3. Or strike 2. Okay. Yes, it's strike 3. Now Rivera leaves the box. I thought it was. Rivera didn't seem to think so. He just stood there.
Just trying to sneak in there. Maybe if he doesn't move, the official won't notice him and he can stay out there.
Second strikeout for Lorenz. 1 down. Here's Garrett Shun, who's trying to keep a perfect day going. 2 walks, a single, a fielder's choice, and a run scored for Garrett today. 2 on, 1 out, lefty to lefty first pitch. There's a fastball strike at the knees, 0-1.
You know, I was talking with Coach Hernandez early today about win 100 last night for him, and talking about, well, you know, in many ways it's a microcosm of much of his career and some of the stuff this program has had to deal with, especially in his early years.
Spinning a throwback to second. Febles in there safely.
But part of that conversation comes, well, he said, I'm glad we got it last night, because it's one of those things that even though he's not the guy that's playing every day, you don't want that to linger on top of you for multiple games.
Chun watches a fastball high, 1-1.
Even if it's affecting him or maybe some of the guys in the dugout trying to win number 100 for their coach, you don't need that, you know, when's it going to come? When's it going to come? Because then you come into today with it hanging over your head. If you lose this game, it's like, oh, well, we've got a tough one at UCF, so who knows when win 100 will come. So it's a nice job by the Wildcats to take care of business last night.
Another throwback to second. And I told him on the post-game interview, maybe the most dramatic way to get win number 100. Come back with a 4 spot in the ninth and walk it off. It's 12-4 here on Sunday. Jackson State with a big lead. Here's the 1-1 to Chun. And he watches that breaking ball slash through the zone for strike 2. Again, it is an absolutely perfect day for baseball. Temperature in the high 60s, partly cloudy skies. Sean watches one inside, 2-2. As opposed to the 2 night games of this series, which have been windy and kind of chilly.
And maybe the worst part for Jackson State of the game today is that they don't get to spend any time in Daytona Beach. They've got a flight to catch.
Lorenz long look 2-2, outside 3-2. Longest outing of the season for Lorenz was actually 70 pitches against Florida A&M last week. So he can go a long time. Also has a 60 and a 51 pitch outing earlier in the season. He's an innings eater. As there is now a meeting on the mound. No coaches involved, just the entire infield in. Everybody breaks the huddle, and we'll go back to play. It'll be a 3-2 upcoming to Garrett Chun. Frankie Feblis on second after a walk and a Xavier Cintrone infield error. One down, Rivera went down looking after those two reached. The 3-2 to Chun. Looks back to second, now deals. And it's fouled away. Garrett just catching up to that breaking ball. It's one of those days that reminds you that spring is on the way out, summer is close here in the Sunshine State. Once again, the payoff pitch. Fouled away, and we'll do it again. In a week or two, this won't be 68, it'll be 88. We'll all be wondering why we left our homes in the morning.
Don't remind me.
Once again, for the third time, the 3-2 to Garrett Chun. Lorenz pitches. Ground ball towards second could be 2. On to second for 1. Back to first. Safe. And coming home is the throw to the plate. Scoring all the way from second is Feblis. And it's 12-5. Great heads-up base running by Frankie Feblis.
And the Wildcats continue to stay locked in on the bases. I think that's one of the most impressive parts of this team this year is how they haven't really had any true plays on the bases where you shake your head and say, what were they thinking? They've stayed engaged, even late in the game. It hasn't led to outs. It's led to extra bases. And it's been a weapon.
And that might be the end for Lorenz as Coach Omar comes out to talk to him. Jackson State has had 2 warming in the bullpen for this entire half inning. But I do want to go back to that play, right? It was just a routine chopper towards second. Alvarez makes the turn, goes to first. Chun, on his horse, beats it out for the fielder's choice. And the first baseman, Williams, just kind of lazily went to toss it back to the pitcher. Didn't even see Feblis breaking for home. And by the time he threw it over there, it was too late.
And it's been a difference between these two teams all weekend long as one team has stayed locked in moments like that, hasn't made those same mistakes. Just the one error for Jackson State today, but after 6 last night and then back into Friday, it's just they haven't looked sharp. They haven't looked well coached, which is strange because I think Omar Johnson is a good coach. He keeps the team really emotionally engaged. There's just too many mental errors, whether it's on the bases, in the field, even at the plate, that have just allowed too many openings for opposition. And the Wildcats, for much of this weekend, even today, despite the large deficit on the scoreboard, they've done a good job of capitalizing when Jackson State's taken their foot off the gas.
The new pitcher for Jackson State is one we've seen already this weekend, C.J. Lewis, the transfer from Toledo, the right-handed side armor. He pitched in last night's game, went 2/3 of an inning through 14 pitches, didn't give up anything, walked one, and just forced a pop up and a ground out, but then was pulled. And looking back on it in the post-game show, Bryce, we were remarking that maybe that was the wrong move because the next two pitchers that they sent up, the Wildcats eventually made their comeback off of.
And I think part of that was the approach from the Jackson State coaching staff. Everything he threw was low and away, and he couldn't quite pick the corner. And I think with a strike zone that we've seen today from Phillip Blake, I don't think he's going to be able to do anything similar, especially on that outside edge. The strike has just not been there. So they're going to have to vary that approach if it's not going to be another short outing for him. But I don't think, again, that that's any knock on Lewis, the pitcher. I think the game plan didn't bode well for what he showed he was capable of on the mound. With the outs that he did get, he went up in the zone to force those weak pop-ups or a couple of grounders the guys just rolled over. Something you got to mix up the pitch mix a little bit more, and if you're not getting those strikes early in the lower half of the zone, can't stay camped down there.
It'll be Irvin Escobar, who is 1 for 4. Hopped up 3 times in the first, third, and fifth, then little bloop single to right in the 7th. 2 down, Chun at first, 1 in the inning for the Wildcats. First pitch, low and outside, ball 1. And in that 7th inning, on the double by Manny Sufrain that scored Garrett Chun, Escobar tried to stretch and go to first to third, and he overslid the bag and was tagged out. They go back to first, Chun back in safely. That's one of the big what-if moments of the game for the Wildcats. The other one is the Sergio Rivera grounding into a double play with bases loaded, 1 out in the 6th pitch in the dirt ball 2. 2-0 the count to Escobar. But Irvin will continue to platoon behind the plate for the entire season. 2-0 down the middle, grounded foul, 2-1. I don't think either has stood out enough to be the solo catcher going forward.
It's also just, the collegiate season for these guys who aren't used to it it's a grind. It's good to have two capable guys behind the plate.
2-1 from Lewis. That one's in the air to right center field, not deep. McCloudy makes the catch to end the inning. 1 run, no hits, 1 left. And we go to the top of the 9th. It's 12-5 here on the CatEye Network. We go to the top of the 9th. It's Jackson State 12, Bethune-Cookman 5. 9-hole hitter for the Tigers, Letty Alvarez will lead off. Dylan Dudonis still on the hill for the Wildcats, and the first pitch is hit foul to the left-hand side. Top 7 in Tallahassee 8-8 between the Rattlers and the Alabama State Hornets. There's a breaking ball that misses high, 1-1. Hornets trying to avoid getting swept by the Rattlers. And of course, the Wildcats would love if the Hornets could do us a favor, because then the Wildcats would still be on top by record of the SWAC East by half a game.
If nothing else, it's good to watch the two teams beat up on each other a little bit.
Breaking ball, inside ball two to Alvarez. Alvarez has scored 2 runs today, singled in the second, struck out in the third, walked and scored in the fifth, and bunted the runners over in the seventh. There's a ball, 3-1. Bottom 5 in Huntsville, Alabama A&M 6, Mississippi Valley State 1. Pitch. High pop, left-hand side, that'll make the seats. And it's 3-2. Grambling still leads Prairie View 5-4. That's the bottom of the 7th. Those are the 3 games ongoing at the moment. Three-two. Ground ball. And through the left side for a base hit, just under the glove of Feblis as he tried to backhand it at the shortstop position.
Just from the very start this afternoon, Jackson State not whiffing on much. They've seen the ball really well. They've made hard contact all day. Even on the outs, everything has been hold your breath when you hear the clang off the bat.
We talked about that a lot. Last year, the last series of the season was against Jackson State. The Tigers took 2 out of 3 from the Wildcats on that occasion. First pitch, a bunt, foul by Rodney Hibbler. No, correction, this is Jordan McClatty. And it was something that the Wildcats almost let them knock them out of the tournament last year. As the Wildcats had an 8-3 lead in that elimination game. Jackson State came all the way back to take the lead before the Wildcats walked it off in the 9th. The only other game this afternoon in the SWAC is Southern hosting Arkansas Pine Bluff. That game should be going on at the moment, but we have no live stats to look at, so we don't know the score. Another throwback to first. Tuesday, non-conference action returns. Arkansas Pine Bluff hosts Williams Baptist College of Arkansas. Pitch. Bunted right in front of the plate. Back to the mound. Safe at first. Charging in was Dudonis, but his throw was just a half second late. And there's 2 on and nobody out.
I think Dudonis let that ball come to him a little bit more than maybe he should have charged at it. The legs beat that throw out.
Texas Southern plays Huston Tillotson. Bethune-Cookman on the road at South Florida over in Tampa. Texas A&M plays Tennessee. Alabama State plays Auburn. Alcorn State plays Southeastern Baptist. Prairie View on the road at Louisiana Lafayette. One conference game, quote-unquote, that won't count for the conference standings. First pitch inside to Rodney Hibbler, 1-0. As Grambling State plays Jackson State. And then Southern hosts Dillard University of Louisiana. One-0. There's a strike as a bunt is pulled back by Hibbler. Hibbler reached base 4 out of 5 times he's come to the plate. Doubled in the first, reached on an error in the second, singled in the fourth, walked in the fifth, struck out in the 7th. He's also scored 2 of the 12 runs for Jackson State. And he's got Alvarez at second and McClatty on first with nobody out. Pitch from Dudonis outside. And it's 2-1. And you could tell that the Wildcats wanted Dudonis to take this all the way, but they have scrambled bodies to the bullpen. Aaron Schaefer, who closed out yesterday's game, is throwing right now. Count is 2-1 on Hibbler. Pitch. Swung and a foul back. And it's 2-2. Hit and run action there for Jackson State as both runners took off.
We are hoping if the Tortugas can finish up renovations enough to where we get to a working space to be able to return video broadcasts for the rest of this season. It's contingent on if we have access to the press box next weekend.
High pop, center field. Rivera moves in, and he makes the catch. He also fires in to keep the runners where they are, and there's one down.
More and more hard contact every time. Let's hear how loud it's come off the bat for JSU.
Third baseman, number 21, Lenny Montesano.
Well, here's Lenny Montesano. He is 4 for 5 with 2 home runs. One of them in the fourth, a 2-run blast, and then a solo shot to begin the 8th. And the first pitch high and inside. Udonis challenged him, and he got him to swing and miss for strike 1.
Same pitch he swung at 2 plate appearances ago. He likes it high, but not a lot you could do with one up there.
Udonis pitches and he's grounded it to short. They go to third for 1, and that's all they'll get. They get the lead runner, fielder's choice for Montesano, and there's 2 away.
They love the slide there, a little bit aggressive, kind of knocking Fabo off his feet, not entirely, but off balance. But there'll be no conversation about any of it.
12-5 our score. Jackson State has 15 hits. Breaking ball strike 1 to Robert Tate, who is 0 for 4 with a walk. Only one Jackson State Tiger has not gotten on base today. That's Sebastian Cabeza. Breaking ball inside corner 1. But I'm sure Cabeza will take it. Udonis from the stretch. Line drive, base hit to right field. Rounding third is McClatty. He will hold there. A nice throw from Rodriguez to keep him there. The bases are going to be loaded with 2 down.
More and more hard contact. This Wildcats outfield, though, is credit to them. 2 strong throws have avoided further base running from Jackson State. Prevented some damage here.
And it'll be Joseph Eichelberger, who hasn't really had the best series. 2 for 5 today. 2 strikeouts, a double, a run scored. And this might be the end for Udonis, as Coach Hernandez comes out to talk to him. We may see our 7th pitcher on the mound for Bethune-Cookman today. You talk about a bullpen day. This is it.
Well, fortunate for the Wildcats, wasn't the game like this in game 1 or game 2. But again, it starts and finishes with that start from Gaviria. Didn't give enough length to make it interesting. Put the bullpen in a position where it had to work through several arms. Of course, Jackson State has continued to, pile on as we've gotten later and later. Continued to press the issue. Stayed locked in at the plate. And nobody's really been able to take through and lock down a relief spot. But when they've got so much ground to cover just to get to the end of the game, especially I think when they were thinking this would be a run ruler, weren't anticipating the finish through 9. It's led to a little bit of a scramble to get more and more arms going.
I mean, it really comes back to that 6th spot in the 7th, right? They sent 10 to the plate, 6 of them scored, and Jackson State never really looked back. Yes, they've scored 6 more runs scattered among the later innings, but you've never really felt like the Wildcats were in this game after that. Even last night when they were down 5-1, you kind of felt that there was a chance because the bats were still there or thereabouts. It took way too long for the Wildcats offensively to get anything going today.
Well, fortunately for them, as they await the, I'm sure, lengthy conversation that Coach Hernandez and the team will have out in center field following this game, and then, of course, in the locker room to follow it. At least there's been some guys who've shown some fight later on this game. Obviously, Manny Sufrane's had a great afternoon. Guys have been able to scatter some hits, work some walks. Some of the new guys, Frankie Fabulous, Michael Rodriguez, have been able to get on base. The defense has overall been solid as we've come to expect. So they haven't completely given up in many ways, but still, just so much went wrong in those first couple innings. There'll be plenty to talk about.
This is Aaron Schaefer on the mound. He picked up the win yesterday, throwing just a third of an inning. But he was the pitcher of record when the Wildcats came back to win, so he picks up his first win. The junior from Davie, Florida, down in Miami, is in his third collegiate stop. St. Thomas to start, then St. Petersburg College, and now Bethune-Cookman. He's also played some collegiate summer ball as well down in Boca Raton. He will face Joseph Eichelberger with the bases loaded and 2 outs here in the top of the ninth. It is a 12-5 lead for Jackson State. Schaefer, somebody this Wildcat staff is very high on as potentially a first guy out of the bullpen in a lot of situations. Breaking ball inside corner, strike one. He had dealt with some off the field eligibility things to get into the game yesterday and into the games the latter part of the season. He's somebody that the Wildcats wanted to have available from the start of the year. 1-1 ball inside. Schaefer very relaxed out there on the mound. He pulls it way back and rears from behind him. Breaking ball misses low, 2-1. Bases loaded, 2 down. Here's the pitch to Eichelberger. Spiked it in the dirt, 3-1. Eighth appearance of the season for Dudonis. Of course, won a third of an inning last night, but 21 innings overall, 3.86 his ERA. But he is behind 3-1 to Eichelberger. The best average on this team, 367. The 3-1. There's a ball 4 low and a run walks in. McClatty will come in from third. Montesano goes to third. Tate to second. And it is 13-5.
Spots like this where you start to figure out what the hierarchy of the Bethune-Cookman bullpen would be. We've already seen the guys who we figured to be the first few out of the pen. But then there's always situations like this that you can come in a less than ideal spot, guys on the base paths. Who's got the stuff to succeed with runners on?
Here's Cabeza, fouls one straight back. He's the only Tiger that hasn't gotten on base today. 0 for 5. Fly out, line out, ground out, and a sacrifice bunt. And he's behind 0-1 to Schaefer. Breaking ball catches the outside corner, 0-2. Wildcats will have Gonzalez, Sufrain, and Gonzalez Fable in the bottom of the ninth, pending any more pinch hitters. Schaefer 1 strike away. Here's the pitch. Way outside, and it somehow doesn't skip to the backstop. Great job by Escobar behind the plate. Just kind of waved at it with his glove, and it ended up just sitting right in front of him.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to play hockey goalie behind the plate there and just try to slide and do your best to get in front of balls that are in the dirt like that and try to keep it from the giant backstop back here.
Montesano on third. Tate on second. Eichelberger on first. Count is 1-2 to Cabeza. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul. First base side out of play. They say it hit him. And another run.
But see, how can you?
He swung all the way through that and fouled it off.
Yeah.
And Coach Arnett is going to come out and argue with that.
In what world does a swing can result in a hit by pitch?
Yes, it was upstairs and in. It definitely hit the bat. Coach Hernandez is arguing the very same thing. And yes, it's 13-5, but that's a baffling one to me. And the umpires will talk it over, but for now, it's 14-5.
Just strange. I don't think either manager would be super thrilled with the officiating this weekend, at least according to them. We've seen a lot of our time used up just watching official talk to coach, official talk to official, official talk to other coach, official talk to official again, and it bogs down the operation down here. But this is one where I'm as confused as you are. I have no idea how that results in a base.
And it is going to be a hit by pitch. So Montesano comes in.
Oh, catcher's interference. That's what the live stats read. That I had the
Okay.
benefit of being able to hear a little bit better without the headphones on. So that makes a little more sense. Must have hit the glove of Escobar on the swing at some point. That crystallizes a little bit how it's possible for that play to shake out the way it did.
So now it's Taint on third, Eichelberger on second, Cabeza on first. Here's Jalen Williams. 14-5 to score. Breaking ball hammered to left center field and deep. Going back, Chun. He will not get there. It's going to bounce to the wall. That's going to be a 3-run double for Jalen Williams. 17-5. Yikes.
It's just more of the same. I think hard contact. They've seen the ball so well, the breaking stuff especially. They've had so much success on curves up and down this Wildcats bullpen. The off speed has just been disastrous. Haven't been able to locate that one. Tries to keep it high, but it sits right over the heart of the plate. And, well, what do you expect when you're throwing a pitch in that spot?
And now here's the ninth batter of the inning, Miles White. Jackson State's already batted around once today, swing and a miss, strike one. They are one batter getting on base away from doing it again. Scored 6 in the first. They've got 5 already in this inning. And this is the most runs the Wildcats have given up in a game this season. Gave up 16 to Maine in a game that they won. 19 to
Please don't remind
16.
me of that game. This game has felt like it in some ways. Not quite as chaotic as that one, though.
We've just passed the 3-hour mark here at the Jack. Chop foul, and it's 1-2, and Schaefer again 1 strike away. And that catcher interference really hurts there because you're a strike away from getting out of the inning with a lot less damage than has already been done. And in a game closer than 14-5, as the ball gets away from the catcher, Williams goes to third on the wild pitch. In a game closer than this, I think maybe Coach Hernandez is a lot angrier about that.
I think he looks all the part of a composed manager over there in the dugout, but I would not want to be a part of any post-game conversation.
2-2. Bringing a high pop, first base line, long run for Rodriguez. He won't get there. It's going to get by him. Another run's going to score on a double right down the first base line that dropped in no man's land. Rodriguez couldn't get there. It is 18-5. We're going to see another pitching change.
Just nobody on the mound today has shown any signs of control. Jackson State has controlled the pace of this game. They've controlled the way it's been played on all ends. You know, they've been a little sloppy as they've shown the tendency to do, especially early on in the game, but as it's gotten more and more out of hand, Wildcats defense can only do so much if balls continue to be put where there's nobody to track them down.
Keeping you updated on what's going on in Tallahassee. The Rattlers have the lead again in the top of the eighth. It is 9-8 over Alabama State. Remember, if Florida A&M wins, they will go top of the league. Of course, the Wildcats have that one game in hand still against Mississippi Valley because the game that got washed out in Mississippi earlier this week. And another Wildcat pitcher, Eduardo. It can't be Eduardo Morales. No, it's Carlos Yasmin. And the Jackson State Tigers have batted around for the second straight time. And I'm almost out of space on my scorecard.
It's been one of those days. One of those days. You woke up today, it'd be a nice day for the beach, be a nice day to spend some time outside, nice day to do whatever, but yet here we are buried at the ballpark at 18-5. Pretty much has felt like a long shot from all the way back in the second inning. But the fun thing about baseball is you play so many games, you don't have too much time to dwell on anything.
Get back out. You only get one day off, and then you're back at the ballpark. And who knows what could happen, right? Remember, the 14-1 loss to UCF, and they came back the very next evening and were competitive against the nationally ranked Florida State team. So
all it takes is one good outing to put a whole weekend, or in this case, just a day of bad play behind you. It's so easy to just reverse everything, and all it takes is a good effort on the mound and taking care of the fundamentals everywhere else.
yeah, we're at the point with the freshman Yasmin on the mound. I'm not sure who we haven't seen yet. Here's Letty Alvarez. He led off the inning with a base hit and was caught going to third on a fielder's choice. But since then, 6 more runs have come across for the Tigers. It is 18-5. Yasmin making his 5th appearance of the season. His first pitch was a ball outside to Alvarez. He got a 9.53 RA in just 5 2/3 innings pitched. Here's a 1-0. Breaking ball strike, 1-1. The Wildcats have had 2 outs in the inning for this entire rally.
Seen it haunt them too many times this year. This is just a latest example.
Yasmin deals. Soft ground ball, third baseline. Charging is Fabo, and there's no play at first. That ball was hit too softly. And the inning continues, and we'll see Jordan McClatty again.
Seen a couple of plays like that that have allowed Jackson State's athleticism to shine. Just nothing you can do about it.
White goes to third. And so runners on the corners for McClatty. 7th time through the order for Jackson State starting right now. First pitch to him. Low, ball gets to the backstop, and the run will score from third, and it's 19-5. Wild pitch brings home Miles White. 7 runs in the inning for Jackson State.
You talk about the mentality switch on the opposite side for Jackson State. It's a pretty good way to finish a weekend, all things considered. You were down and out last night by all accounts. Come back through with a resounding win like this shows you can hang with the top of the East like anyone else.
Pitch, upstairs, ball 2. 2-0 the count to McClatty. The Wildcats, at this point, just trying to get off the field. There's a fastball strike, 2-1. Yasmin, as I said, making his 6th appearance of the season. He's mostly been a back inning guy against the high major schools. Pitch. Ground ball, back up the middle. It's a softly hit one. Febles feels, fires in time. Got him to end the inning. The Wildcats finally get out of it, but 7 runs come across on 6 hits, 1 error, and 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. It is 19-5, Jackson State over Bethune-Cookman here at the CatEye Network. Last ups for Bethune-Cookman after 7 runs. Hassan Standifer comes in after playing first base most of the weekend. He'll play third. Montesano's day is done. This is Jack Gidcombe pinch hitting for the Wildcats against C.J. Lewis. I expect to see all pinch hitters here in this inning for BCU. As a first pitch fastball strike from Lewis. Gidcombe, a junior from Jacksonville, a transfer from FSCJ, got the start in the game against Florida State. Swings and fouls one right back into the BCU dugout. 0-2. And the pitch outside, 1-2 from C.J. Lewis. Mississippi Valley State back in the game with Alabama A&M. It's 6-3 Bulldogs, top of the 7th. Prairie View has come back to take the lead on Grambling State 6-5 in the 8th. 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Gidcombe out on strikes, and there's one down. Manny Suffrain's day is done.
14, Jason Hodges. Pinch hitting.
Jason Hodges will pinch hit. And in Tallahassee, it is still 9-8. Florida A&M over Alabama State. FAMU try to complete that sweep. First pitch in the dirt, ball 1. To the righty, Jason Hodges. Hodges, the senior from Forest Park, Illinois, watches another ball outside, 0-2. Transfer from John A. Logan College. Has had some sparing appearances over the last 2 years for the Wildcats.
Fortunately for him, the Wildcats outfield unit, probably the best collective one they have.
Sky high pop, shallow center. Hibbler racing in, and he makes the catch on the run. And there's 2 away. Wildcats down to their last out.
Your attention, please. Pinch hitting for Bethune-Cookman, number 1, A.J. Smith.
And it'll be A.J. Smith,
Pinch hitting.
the speedster from Kilgore, Texas, and Wharton Junior College. Mostly used as a pinch runner in late game situations. But he bats with 2 out in the 9th. And he fouls one straight back, 0-1. Smith has been the winning run in 2 walk-off wins for the Wildcats this year. 0-1. In the dirt, 1-1.
We'll definitely see Smith's legs be put to use in some of these big series, season-ending series against these SWAC teams, and then well into the tournament.
And a pitch outside, 2-1. I mean, your ability to play small ball, manufacture runs, is really important, especially in the tournament setting where here's the pitch outside, 3-1. We're seeing the same issues with C.J. Lewis as he can't find the strike zone down and away. But to finish my point about the tournament late in the season, right? Your ability to manufacture runs and steal games like the Wildcats did last night. Ball low, Smith walks. And there'll be a 2-out base runner for the Cats. And it'll bring up Michael Rodriguez.
Right fielder number 5, Michael Rodriguez.
Last night, I was thinking about it on my drive home. It almost felt like a SWAC tournament game. Starters go deep, and then the bullpens just kind of have nothing left. Pitch. Ground ball up the middle. They flip to second, and that's the game. Jackson State resoundingly takes the final game of this 3-game series. 19-5.
5.
Jackson State goes to 21-10, 6-5 in conference play. Bethune-Cookman falls to 19-5 or sorry, 17 and 14, 9 and 2 in SWAC play. Not a lot to say about this one. Sorry, not a lot to say about this one.
It's we've had plenty of time to write the obituary of the Wildcats today, but it's one where you now will see a good piece of resolve from this team this week and heading into a big series next weekend against an opponent that you should again still very much contend with, very much look to keep that consecutive SWAC series winning streak going against in Alabama State. But you'll get a good look here about particularly who's going to step up to erase the failures of a game like this. You know, you've got the leadership and guys like Garrett Chun at the top who have been consistent all year long, who have shown that day in and day out they're going to put the work in to remain at the top of this lineup and put together quality at bats, quality defense, and everything you'd expect out of winning players. But it's definitely not an easy task to put a game like this behind you, but fortunately, especially for the pitching staff, you just get out and you start a new day fresh and you can put all of that behind you because it doesn't build on each other like that. And you just go out and you hop on the back of your midweek starter and you look to put up a really quality effort against a USF team you probably think you should have had just a couple of weeks ago.
For the Jackson State Tigers, 19 runs on 21 hits. They made one error and left 10 on base. The Wildcats, 5 runs on 8 hits, 3 errors, and left 11 on base. And in a game that went differently, 5 runs on 8 hits, not a bad outing at the ballpark for an offense, but you can't give up 19 in a situation like that.
The remainder of the season is going to be a lot of figuring out who that weekend rotation, what it's really going to look like, especially on Sundays. You know, Marcos Gamboa has shown some signs of life on Saturdays. Has shown some flashes of being able to show that excellence, but as of right now, it's going to either take Gaviria some time away from that weekend spot to return to form a little bit, or maybe somebody else emerging to take that spot.
That'll do it for us here from the CatEye Network. Thank you for listening all season long to BCU baseball. We hope to have video back the next time we're home at the Jack against Alabama State, but stay tuned to all of our social media pages for full coverage. For Bryce Honoski and our entire team, my name is Michael Torello. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. We'll see you next time here on the CatEye Network.